Chapter 6304. Hearing Lin Xian's encounter, Murong Qingcheng was also nervous. This was too legendary. One had to know that the land immortals were high and mighty existences that they looked up to. Even if Murong Qingcheng had this ancient seal now, she wouldn't dare to offend so many land immortals. However, Lin Xian dared to. He had even seriously injured the land immortals and turned a few land immortals into statues. Everything could become a legend. Murong Qingcheng looked at Lin Xian with stars in her eyes. It was too admirable, too legendary. Then, she seemed to have thought of something. "Oh right, Brother Xian, did you get the divine fruit? I got one here. Let's go find the other longevity fruits." Lin Xian said, "I have 39 here. You have one too. Did you get the first one?" Murong Qingcheng was also stunned. "What? 39? Did I hear wrongly? There are only 49 longevity fruits in total, and most of them are with Lin Xian." Lin Xian was even more delighted. In this way, he and Murong Qingcheng would have 40 together. The remaining 9 were all in the 9th heaven, and no one had obtained them yet. In other words, the other side didn't get a single longevity fruit. This was really great news. This time, the people of the other side wouldn't be able to return. Although it was a random selection, those who could come here were all peerless experts. The fall of one of them was heartbreaking. Such a powerhouse would have been the strongest powerhouse of that era in every previous era. Therefore, even the other side wouldn't be able to withstand the fall of 49 peerless experts at once. And once they failed, the land immortals on the other side would be petrified, and their peak strength would be weakened. The backbone strength would be greatly weakened. The other side was probably in danger. This was a great opportunity for the divine realm. "Brother Xian, what should we do next? Should we go find the other 9 longevity fruits?" Lin Xian said, "Let's go find the immortal token first. I have clues about the immortal token. We have to set off immediately." Because in the 9th heaven, there were 3 land immortals who knew this secret. The enemies from before were sent by them. Now that the mission had failed, it was likely that the land immortal would personally take action. Therefore, we cannot be careless in the slightest. Am I being targeted by the land immortals again? Moreover, they were 3 earth immortals. Murong Qingcheng was extremely nervous. She said, "I have 3 ancient seals in my hand. I wonder if they can hurt a land immortal?" Lin Xian also said, "I still have 2 balls of samadhi true fire here. One of them is a divine fire at its peak and can hurt an earth immortal. As for the other one, I absorbed some of it. However, I can still block the attack of an earth immortal. No matter what, we have the capital to contend with the land immortals." This time, Lin Xian was even more careful. There was no other way. When he fought against Yuxian he worked together with Zhou Tianshi. And in the 8th layer of heaven, fighting against a group of earth immortals was a cooperation with immortal power. This time, they could only rely on themselves to reach the 9th heaven. Therefore, they had to be more cautious. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian took out the immortal key and sensed its aura. Then he said, "This way." They flew into the distance. Not long after they left, Ziyin snorted coldly. The aura of her subordinates disappeared. Did they fail? What a piece of trash. However, this also meant that the kid was here. "Kid, you can't escape." Ziyin snorted coldly. In her eyes, there was a purple light that cut through heaven and earth. The entire 9th heaven was enveloped by her soul. Soon, she discovered Lin Xian. Originally, she wanted to make a move. However, when she saw the phantom of a phoenix beside Lin Xian, she was stunned. She didn't know why. She felt a trace of familiar information from this phoenix. She didn't think too much about it. However, with this delay, she felt the power of the other 2 land immortals also enveloping her. The power of these 2 land immortals was the god of wind and the immortal of lightning. These 3 people had tried to snatch the key in the 8th heaven. As a result, one of their arms was petrified. Unexpectedly, they were working together again this time. Of course, the 3 land immortals were only cooperating on the surface. In fact, they each had their own formation. These 3 people all sensed each other's existence, so they didn't make a move. Because once they made a move, it would be a battle between land immortals. At that time, It would alarm the other land immortals, and the situation would become uncontrollable. At this time, Ziyin said through voice transmission, "The two of you, how about listening to me? Say it. If the three of us make a move now, who will win? No one knows. At that time, the other land immortals will be alarmed. At that time, it's hard to say whether we still have an advantage. Why don't we let this kid take the key and search for it? When the immortal token appears, we'll make a move. How about it? You mean to cast a long line to catch a big fish?" The god of wind also sneered, "No problem, I agree. Anyway, this kid is being watched by the three of us. He can't run away." The three land immortals made a decision in an instant. They wanted to let this kid know what it meant to be a mantis stalking a cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Lin Xin didn't know what the three land immortals were thinking. However, he knew that the land immortals surpassed everything. He definitely wouldn't be able to hide his arrival in the ninth heaven for long. Soon, the three land immortals would know. Therefore, he and Morong Qingcheng were flying at a fast speed. They had already obtained some clues from the immortal key. Finally, they flew all the way until they arrived at a mountain range. "It's here." Lin Xin landed and looked around. Then, he said, "Qingcheng, why are you still in this state?" There was no need to fight now. Morong Qingcheng forced a smile and said, "Brother Xian, there's nothing I can do. I've only cultivated half of the ancient phoenix spell. I can't recover. However, Master gave me this thing. I think I can hide my aura." After saying that, she put on the bracelet. Then, the seven-colored light on her body disappeared. However, Morong Qingcheng's eyes widened. "It's still a phoenix? Is Master reliable?" In fact, the mysterious woman couldn't be blamed. In the mysterious woman's opinion, phoenixes were common, but seven-colored phoenixes were not. Therefore, as long as she hid the seven-colored phoenix bloodline, nothing else mattered. The other land immortals wouldn't attack a phoenix. "Let's go." The two set off towards the mountain. This was a continuous mountain range, a bit like the world creation mountain of the eighth heaven. There were mountains as far as the eye could see. Moreover, there was a mysterious aura. In the void, the eyes of three land immortals appeared and looked down. Purple Mist said, "This is the Immortal Gaze Mountain. I have meditated here before. However, I didn't find anything else." The god of wind also said, "Could it be that the immortal token is in the Immortal Gaze Mountain? Should we directly attack the Immortal Gaze Mountain?" The lightning immortal said, "Don't. Haven't you been to the Immortal Gaze Mountain? There is more than one land immortal who has cultivated there. I have also cultivated there and stayed there. I found that the king's place is very mysterious. Don't act rashly. The eighth heaven, haven't we suffered enough? If we attract the power of immortality again, we are finished." Chapter 6305. Immortal Gazing Mountain was a very magical mountain. It was said that the phantoms of immortals often appeared here. There were indeed traces of land immortals here. In the ninth heaven, more than one land immortal had stopped here to cultivate. Therefore, this place was full of miracles. At the foot of Immortal Gazing Mountain, there was a village. At this moment, there were many people gathered in the village. These were not ordinary villagers. If one sensed carefully, they would find that their auras were very powerful. There were even divine flames and immortal chi on their bodies. Obviously, there were emperor-level figures here. What kind of village was this? This village was called Immortal Seeking Village. They existed to search for immortals, to break through and become land immortals. The clan leader of Immortal Seeking Village was very old. He had lived for hundreds of thousands of years. It was very difficult for him to even walk. "I have no hope. The last time I entered Immortal Gazing Mountain, I was injured. My foundation was damaged. After hundreds of thousands of years, my life is finally coming to an end. So this time, I can't enter Immortal Gazing Mountain at all. Next, you can only rely on yourselves." After hearing this, many young people's eyes turned red. "Clan leader," they said, "you will be fine. Don't worry, clan leader. We will go in and find immortal herbs for you." The clan leader revealed a gratified smile. "You are the hope of the future. However, I have to remind you that it is very dangerous inside. You must be careful. If you find that you can't resist it, come out quickly. Don't be like me, knowing that I can't do it. In the end, it will only increase the sadness. Don't worry, clan leader. I will lead the team this time. There will be no problem. Another old man walked over. This old man was wearing a blue robe. He was the great elder of this village. With you here, I am relieved. The clan leader also nodded. Indeed, this great elder was not ordinary. His name was Yusong, a pine tree who cultivated to become an emperor. He was now a mid-stage super great emperor. He was very close to the late-stage super great emperor. He could even break through at any time. At this moment, a low rumbling sound suddenly came from outside, followed by a flash of light. What was going on? These people all turned their heads to look. A great emperor said, "Someone is breaking the seal. Someone wants to enter Immortal Gazing Mountain." Who is it? Who wants to enter Immortal Gazing Mountain at this time? They looked up and saw two figures. One of them was a young man with a slender figure and a handsome face. The other one was actually a phoenix, a divine beast. A young man said, "This mythical beast represents auspicious signs. It's not bad to catch it as a pet." The young man who spoke was very handsome. He was wearing blue armor and looked very mighty. Immortal chi circled around his body, making him look like a young god of war. He was Emperor Frigid Extreme, the Grand Elder's disciple. Regardless of status or strength, he was extremely terrifying among the younger generation. No one could compare to him. At this moment, Emperor Frigid Extreme was looking at the phoenix in the distance with a cold look in his eyes. Not only did he have this thought, he even wanted to make a move. However, at this time, the old patriarch, who had been weak until now, began to tremble. Two flames suddenly appeared in his eyes and pierced through the 9 heavens. The next moment, he said excitedly, "It's him. It's really him. I've been waiting." "Old patriarch, what's going on?" "Yes, don't scare me." The surrounding people were scared silly. They were afraid that the old patriarch would suddenly fall. The old patriarch's body trembled even more. He said, "Don't do anything to these two. Invite them in. You must invite them in respectfully." Hearing this, the surrounding people were stunned. They invited them in respectfully and rudely. Judging from their appearance, they were only great emperors. Although they were terrifying, they weren't so respectful. They would only be like this when facing Earth immortals. Why? Why did the old patriarch say something like this? Hurry up and do it. I'm not dead yet. You don't want to listen to me, do you? The old patriarch suddenly shouted angrily. Everyone was startled. "Patriarch, please calm down. We'll invite them in now." Two figures flew into the sky. "Fellow Taoists, please wait." In the sky, two men from the Immortal Seeking Village appeared. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing stopped and frowned slightly. There were people here, and their aura seemed to be not bad. Lin Xian looked down. The next moment, he exclaimed, "There is a terrifying village in the array, and in the village, there are peerless powerhouses." This was too unusual. What was going on? Could it be that the 3 Earth Immortals sent them to continue hunting him down? Thinking of this possibility, his expression became extremely cold, and a golden flame even spread out from his body. The two people from the Immortal Seeking Village quickly said, "Fellow Taoist, don't be afraid. We're not here to attack you. The old patriarch invites you in." The old patriarch? Lin Xian was stunned. He said coldly, "Don't play tricks. I've already met your people once. You've set up an inescapable net below, right? You've really misunderstood. We're from the Immortal Seeking Village. You two want to go to the Immortal Gazing Mountain, right? Brother Xian, they might not have any ill intentions," Murong Qingqing said. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and thought for a while. He said, "Okay, I'll go down with you." Anyway, the two of them had trump cards in hand, so they weren't afraid of traps. "Please." The group descended. When they entered the Immortal Seeking Village, even Murong Qingqing was shocked. She knew that there were many experts here, but she didn't expect there to be so many. This was already equivalent to a top sect. But these people were actually willing to live in seclusion at the foot of the mountain. There must be a demon behind this abnormality. I wonder why the old patriarch wants to see me. After Lin Xin arrived, he stared at an old man. This old man was very old. It seemed that he didn't have much time left. "How dare you be so rude to our old patriarch?" Emperor Hanji, who was next to him, shouted coldly. His voice carried a monstrous chill, as if it was going to freeze everything. Lin Xin frowned slightly, glanced at the other party, and then ignored him. "It doesn't matter." The old patriarch looked at Lin Xin with a smile. Then, he suddenly asked through voice transmission, "May I ask if you're from the outside world? Are you intruders?" Hearing this, Lin Xin was stunned. He also said through voice transmission, "That's right. Are you here to attack us? Which Earth immortal sent you here?" The old patriarch was also stunned. The person in front of him had offended an Earth immortal. He was really bold. However, he also knew a little about the intruders. These people were originally very terrifying, and they wouldn't stay here forever. If they offended an Earth immortal, they might leave alive. He no longer cared about this matter. He said, "I don't care about your grudge with the Earth immortal. I only want to ask you, do you want to enter the Immortal Gaze Mountain?" "That's right." Lin Xin nodded. "Are you going to stop me?" The old patriarch said, "No, because we also want to enter the Immortal Gaze Mountain. I want to join forces with you. I even want you to lead us there." Hearing this, Lin Xin was stunned. The surrounding people were also stunned, because at this moment, the two of them were talking through voice transmission. They couldn't hear anything at all. Did the old patriarch know the other party? Why was the old patriarch talking through voice transmission? Was there something he wanted to hide from them? Chapter 6306. The atmosphere in the Immortal Seeking Village was a bit strange. Everyone stared at Lin Xin, wanting to know what he was talking about. Lin Xin frowned slightly. After a moment of silence, he said, "Why do you believe me? We don't know each other, do we? Are you so sure that I have no ill intentions?" The old patriarch sighed and continued to transmit his voice. "Young master, this might be your first time here, right? You have no idea how dangerous the Immortal Gazing Mountain is. There are miracles here. Moreover, there are even more unknown dangers. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, I went there once. At that time, I was already at the late stage of the Supreme Emperor realm. I wanted to break through and become a land immortal. However, no matter how hard I cultivated, I couldn't condense the third immortal energy. I even despaired. Later, I knew that there was hope in the Immortal Gazing Mountain. So, I went in. However, I was attacked when I was there. Who was the one who attacked me? I don't know. That time, I was seriously injured. Only one of the people who went in with me came back alive. The rest were all dead. He came back with me, who was seriously injured. From then on, I recuperated at the foot of the mountain. After hundreds of thousands of years, the Immortal Seeking Village was established. During this period, we also entered the mountain once. However, we also suffered heavy losses. The Immortal Gazing Mountain is too dangerous. This time, although we have prepared for another 100,000 years, it can be said that we are fully prepared. However, can we succeed? I'm still not sure. Moreover, over the past hundreds of thousands of years, I have also collected countless information. There is a saying that intruders may have a higher chance of success. Therefore, when I knew that you were an intruder, I had already decided that we must ask you to lead us in. What are your conditions? You can name them as you wish. There was actually such a thing. What danger is there? Lin Xin was surprised. However, the old man said, "Unknown danger. I was injured by an unknown creature." It was stranger than he had imagined. However, this Immortal Gazing Mountain was a place where there might be immortal tokens. No matter how strange it was understandable. Anyway, he was going to go in. It didn't matter if he brought the people of the Immortal Seeking Village in with him. Therefore, Lin Xin nodded and said, "I can go in with you. What is your request? I have weapons, pills, cultivation manuals, and so on. I don't need them. I want your cultivation experience, especially when you break through." "No problem." The old patriarch took out an ancient storage ring and placed it in Lin Xian's hand. He said, "It's inside." Lin Xian probed it with his soul. Indeed, he discovered that there were many stone tablets inside. On these stone tablets, there were mysterious traces of the great Tao. These were the insights and insights of the old clan chief, and could be said to be incomparably precious. Although both parties were working together and taking what they needed, Lin Xian still felt that this gift was too valuable. He originally thought that the other party would only give him the cultivation insights of the great emperor realm. He didn't think that the other party would give him the cultivation insights of a transcendent god emperor too. This way, when he cultivated, he would receive a lot of inspiration, and his cultivation speed would also increase. Lin Xian put it away and said, "Don't worry, old patriarch. I will definitely come back alive after entering Mount Wangxian. At that time, if it's possible, I'll see if I can heal your injuries." Hearing this, the old patriarch's body trembled, and a glimmer of hope appeared in his eyes. However, it soon dimmed again. It had been hundreds of thousands of years, and there had been no hope. This time, there probably wasn't much hope either. However, he still said, "Thank you, young master." The surrounding people were even more confused. What was in the storage ring? Just as they were guessing, the old patriarch spoke. He didn't send a voice transmission, but his voice was transmitted to the surroundings. He said, "This time, our immortal village will work together with two geniuses to enter Mount Wangxian. And this time, we have to listen to Lin Gongzi on the way." What? Listen to him? The surrounding people were stunned. It's not a big deal to enter the mountain together, but why do we have to listen to him? The Grand Elder frowned slightly, but he didn't say anything. Although he was very dissatisfied, he glanced at the disciple next to him. Emperor Extreme Frost immediately walked out and said, "I don't agree. This kid is only a great emperor, and he's in the early stage of the great emperor realm. With such strength, why should we listen to him? I think my master is more suitable." Yes, the Grand Elder is very powerful. He's in the middle stage of the transcendent god realm, and he's almost in the late stage of the transcendent god realm. He's a true, peerless master. Only by listening to the Grand Elder can we live. Listen to this kid. We'll probably die soon after we enter. All right, this is my order. Are you ready to return? The old patriarch shouted coldly again, and his expression became extremely serious. The surrounding people were silent. The old patriarch was highly respected. Who dared to refute him? Young Master Extreme Frost looked at the Grand Elder. "Master, say something." The Grand Elder shook his head slightly, indicating for his disciple to stop talking. Although he didn't know why the old patriarch changed his mind. There must be a secret. There must be a secret that he didn't know. But so what? He had agreed here. But who had the final say in entering the Celestial Gaze Mountain? Didn't it depend on strength? No matter how strong this young man was, could he be stronger than him? With a single hand, he could make the other party hover between life and death. If there was danger, he only needed to watch coldly and not help. That brat would soon fall. Thinking of this, the first elder's lips curled into a smile. He said, "Everyone, listen to the old patriarch." Since the Grand Elder said so, the others naturally wouldn't refute. They prepared to set off for Mount Wang the next morning. At night, Murong Qingqing said, "Brother Xian, it seems that these people aren't convinced. It doesn't matter. We're going to enter the mountain anyway, and our goals are different. We can't stay with them all the time. If there's any danger along the way, I'll remind these people. This is what I promised the old patriarch." However, Lin Xian couldn't do anything about whether these people would listen or not. If they didn't listen and insisted on courting death, then there was nothing he could do. At the same time, Lin Xian gave the storage ring to Murong Qingqing. He said, "When you have time, read the cultivation insights inside." After reading it, Murong Qingqing exclaimed, "What precious insights!" With this, their cultivation speed would be even faster. They had all entered the Emperor realm and became great emperors. However, there was still a difference in strength between them. Some great emperors had cultivated for 10,000 years. Some had cultivated for 100,000 years. Some had even cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years. According to the division, Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing had just entered the Great Emperor realm. Early stage Great Emperor realm. Of course, both of them had trump cards, so their combat strength far exceeded this realm. However, Cultivation still had to be cultivated step by step. Especially Lin Xian, who cultivated the power of the gods, it was more difficult for him to break through than other great emperors. The night passed quickly. The next day, the sun rose, and the group set off for Mount Long. Chapter 6307. Outside the village, Emperor Frost Extreme looked at Lin Xian and said, "Kid, if you know what's good for you, you'd better apologize to my master. If you follow my master, you will still be able to come out alive. Otherwise, it is very likely that you will inexplicably die in there." His words were threatening. The others also looked at Lin Xian. They snorted in their hearts. Without the protection of the elder, what will you do? However, Lin Xian shook his head slightly and said, "I don't blame you for your ignorance, because you don't know what a real genius is. But for the sake of the elder, I'll warn you when there's danger. Let's go. I'm in a hurry." With that, Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing walked forward. This surprised the others. Young Master Frost Extreme also gritted his teeth. "Kid, why are you so arrogant? Just wait. You'll regret it and be afraid." The Grand Elder didn't say anything. After all, he was of noble status and was a supreme emperor. He couldn't go against a young man. However, he was determined to kill him. He promised that he wouldn't save him if there was danger. "Take our chariot." Frost Extreme waved his hand and a chariot appeared, surrounded by a terrifying array. It was a chariot at the level of an extreme weapon. Everyone boarded the chariot. This time, there were 15 people going. Including Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing, there were 17 people. Young Master Frost Extreme said, "Sorry, there's no room for you." As he spoke, he raised his chin. Obviously, he wanted to see Lin Xian make a fool of himself. However, Lin Xian said, "Your chariot's defense is not good. It's not even as strong as my body." He waved his hand and golden flames formed a golden dragon shadow. Then, Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing stood on the dragon shadow and walked forward. Wherever the golden dragon passed, all living things would submit to it. It was as if a god had come out. It was dazzling. Everyone was stunned. Doesn't this guy know how to keep a low profile? This is a mortal gaze mountain. Aren't you afraid of attracting danger? Emperor Frigid Extreme snorted. "Idiot, let's stay away from him." At that time, he would let that kid die first. They felt that Lin Xian was too arrogant. However, they were still too narrow-minded. Lin Xian's next move stunned them even more. Lin Xian stretched out a large golden hand and grabbed at the distant forest like a god. Then, he caught a monstrous beast, beheaded it, and began to roast it. Then, he released another streak of sword energy, flying into the distance, fetching 9 heavens water, starting to make spiritual wine. This was not just high profile, this was simply arrogant. Not long after, a fragrant aroma wafted over. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing began to savor the delicacies. Lin Xian said, "I didn't think that the demonic beasts in Immortal City would taste so good. It was different from outside." Murong Qingqing also narrowed his eyes happily. Inside the war chariot, the faces of the people inside the war chariot were unsightly. Look at what they are eating. This was the life of an immortal. As for them, they were eating pills. In addition to pills, there were more pills. A woman sighed, "Cultivation is so boring." She was the 9-crown king, one step away from becoming a great emperor. However, at this moment, she had a feeling that she didn't want to cultivate. Cultivation is too hard. "I want to be like him, free and unfettered." Emperor Frost Extreme gritted his teeth and said, "Junior sister, don't be fooled by this kid. Just watch, he will die soon." As he spoke, he also gritted his teeth. One had to admit that Immortal Gazing Mountain was indeed very mysterious. The deeper they went, the slower they moved. The reason for that was because they were able to sense an unusual aura. On the 5th night, something finally happened. Originally, they had all stopped to rest. Because the night was even scarier, the group had all been silently cultivating. Suddenly, a streak of red light appeared in the distant mountain peak. Like a streak of crimson sword energy, it pierced through the sky. Everyone was startled and opened their eyes. Someone said, "Is that a treasure?" The appearance of a treasure and the phenomenon of heaven and earth caused even Emperor Frost Extreme's eyes to turn red. The first elder said, "Don't be rash. It might not be a treasure. It might be a trap. We must be very careful here." They didn't move that night. On the second night, they saw the crimson light again. An hour later, the crimson light disappeared. They still didn't move. On the third day, they finally couldn't help but say, "First elder, let's go take a look. There are so many of us. It should be fine if we get closer, right?" Even the first elder was tempted. It appeared 3 days in a row. Is it really a treasure? Look at the crimson sword energy. Is it a godly sword? Why don't we take a look? Next to him, Murong Qingqing asked, "Brother Xian, shall we move?" Lin Xian shook his head slightly. "No, don't forget our goal." They only had one goal, and that was to find the immortal token. Nothing was more important than this. Therefore, they didn't want to complicate matters. The group stood up. Only Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing were still sitting there. When the others saw this, they immediately laughed. "What cowards!" Emperor Frost Extreme also snorted. "If you're afraid of death, don't come in." With that, they rose into the air and prepared to fly. At this moment, someone was faster than them. In the distance, several huge figures rushed over. They were demonic beasts. Among them, there were 2 low-level demonic beasts. They were as fast as lightning. "Oh no, someone beat us to it. Let's go," Emperor Frost Extreme said. The first elder also snorted. "How dare a mere emperor-level demonic beast snatch the treasure in front of me?" He was about to fight for it. However, at this moment, there was a sudden change in front of them. A scream came from the front. It turned out that the crimson sword energy suddenly exploded and killed all the demonic beasts nearby. Emperor blood danced in the air, and white bones fell from the sky. The terrifying explosion sounded like the end of the world. Everyone was stunned. Their bodies began to tremble. Emperor Han Chi's face turned pale. Dead. For powerful demonic beasts were all dead. Among them, there were 2 emperor-level demonic beasts. They were killed instantly. This was a trap. They were so scared that they quickly came to the ground, not daring to go any further. Fortunately, they were 1 step slower. If they had arrived earlier, would they be the ones to die? Thinking of this, they were extremely afraid. The first elder's face was also pale. Damn it. Just now, he was almost blinded by the treasure. He couldn't let it go like this. He thought to himself, "I have to be more careful in the future." Only Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing were calm. Throughout the entire process, they were extremely calm, as if they weren't surprised at all. The difference between the 2 sides was obvious. The group was panicking, while the other 2 were calm. This made Emperor Frost Extreme and the others even more angry. Why? How can cowards live so happily? You 2 just wait. One day, I'll make you kneel and beg me. Chapter 6308. After dawn, the group continued their journey. However, as soon as they entered a mountain range, Lin Xian and the others stopped. There were many corpses in front of them. They were the corpses of demonic beasts. These demonic beasts were horrifying. Seeing this scene, everyone's face darkened. Lin Xian used his 6 paths of reincarnation and said, "Let's go in another direction. It's for your own good." The first elder also frowned. But before he could say anything, Emperor Hanji said, "Kid, are you scared? If you are, you can leave now. No one will stop you. But don't even think about changing our route." The first elder didn't say anything, but that was what he meant. If they changed their route as soon as they entered the mountain range, what would others think of him? Would they think that he wasn't strong enough? What a joke. He was a supreme great emperor and was about to enter the late stage. What kind of danger could he face? He couldn't handle it. Therefore, the first elder said, "Let's go. I can guarantee your safety." Sigh. Lin Xian sighed and said, "I promised the elder to protect you, but I only provide advice. How can I make a decision? It's up to you. Since you insist on going, I won't stop you." The people on the other side frowned slightly. "What do you mean by that, Sai? Don't you believe in the first elder's strength?" The first elder was also dissatisfied. In his opinion, Lin Xian was too ignorant. He probably didn't know what kind of power a supreme great emperor was. Then, the first elder led the group and set off quickly. The people of a mortal village followed. When they passed by Lin Xian, they sneered. "Kid, I don't know how you dealt with the elder, but you are not qualified to walk with us, let alone lead us." Lin Xian ignored these words. His expression became very serious. He said to Morong Qingqing next to him, "Be careful. The aura here is not ordinary. Even my Rinnegan can feel a sense of fear." Morong Qingqing nodded. She was always ready to throw out the ancient phoenix seal if there was any danger. The first elder led the group in front, while Lin Xian and the other two walked at the back. After walking for about half a day, everyone laughed. "Look, what danger is there?" The journey was extremely easy. Someone laughed and said, "Thanks to Dezhang Lao. That is, once the Grand Elder made a move, all the demons and ghosts retreated. I'm afraid our speed this time will be faster than we imagined. It won't be long before we reach the depths of the myriad immortal mountain." These people were extremely excited. Boom! Just as they were talking and laughing, one of the people in the group suddenly collapsed. His face was pale and his eyes were filled with fear. His soul had been extinguished. What was going on? The procession immediately stopped. They all turned their heads to look, and when they saw this person's condition, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. His soul was gone. Grand Elder, he was dead. With an exclamation, everyone gasped. What was going on? The person who died was their comrade. His name was Great Emperor Nine Clouds, a mid-stage Great Emperor. He was a true Great Emperor, a super expert who had condensed the God Fire. But now, he had died inexplicably. How could this be? In front, Great Emperor Hanji quickly rushed over and carefully checked. In the next moment, he took a few steps back in fright. He found that Great Emperor Nine Cloud's soul had really been extinguished. What kind of strength was this to kill a great emperor in an instant? More importantly, they didn't notice it at all. This was even more strange. Even Grand Elder's expression was incomparably ugly. He had personally checked and found that Great Emperor Nine Clouds was indeed dead. Previously, he said that he would ensure everyone's safety along the way, and the people around him believed him. But reality slapped him hard in the face. It had only been half a day, and a great emperor had died inexplicably, and he was helpless. Grand Elder, what was going on? Yes, who killed Great Emperor Nine Clouds? Who was the enemy? Was it a super great emperor, or an existence above super great emperors? Questions came one after another. Grand Elder only felt a headache coming on. How should he answer? Because he didn't know anything. At this moment, Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing walked over from the back of the group. When the two of them saw this scene, their brows furrowed tightly. Damn it, it really happened. As soon as they entered the mountain range, Lin Xian felt his Rinnegan twitching non-stop, as if warning him that there was danger. But what exactly was it? He didn't know. Now that he saw a great emperor die inexplicably, he felt a chill rise from the bottom of his heart. The danger here was much more terrifying than he had imagined. Lin Xian's arrival made the atmosphere extremely awkward, because although Lin Xian didn't say anything, he had already reminded them before entering the mountain to change the path. But no one believed him, and they even mocked and ridiculed him. But now, they really wanted to change the path. Grand Elder's eyes were even colder. The person he didn't want to see the most now was Lin Xian, because Lin Xian was right, and he was wrong. Didn't that mean that he was inferior to a young man? How could he be the chief in the future? Morong Qingqing also frowned. She whispered, "The aura here makes me feel extremely uncomfortable." Morong Qingqing's face was pale. Uncomfortable? Although Lin Xian was surprised, he didn't feel uncomfortable. He checked Morong Qingqing's condition and found that she was not injured. Could it be because of the bloodline of the seven-colored phoenix? What did the danger here have to do with the bloodline of the phoenix? He didn't know, but he still took Morong Qingqing to the side, away from the dead great emperor. The surrounding people looked at her strangely. This woman couldn't stand the sight of a corpse? Was she a vase? She didn't have any strength at all. Wouldn't she be courting death if she went in? But no one reminded them. They even hoped that Lin Xian and the others would be unlucky. That way, they would feel better. A woman in the group said, "Why don't we take Jiyun's body with us? After all, he is our companion. We came together, so we should go back together." At her words, a few people nodded. Emperor Frost Extreme's face fell. "Idiots," he said. "Jiyun's death was inexplicable, and he might even have been poisoned, causing us to touch him now. What if he was poisoned? What if we also die mysteriously? What should we do?" At his words, everyone paled. What should we do? The woman's eyes turned red. "Let's dig a hole and bury him." Hearing Emperor Frost Extreme's words, everyone was in an uproar. A great emperor was buried so casually. This was a peerless powerhouse. Although the first elder didn't say anything, he agreed with the idea. After burying the great emperor, the group continued on their way. This time, no one joked. Their hearts were heavy. It had only been half a day, and the great emperor had died. Who knew what would happen next? Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing also continued on their way. They followed behind. In the evening, when the sun set, everyone stopped to rest. Chapter 6309. Lin Xian and the others were still at the edge. The two didn't care about them. Murong Qingqing said, "Brother Xian, I comprehended the old patriarch's enlightenment last night. You can comprehend it today. I'll guard it for you." Lin Xian nodded. His soul entered the storage ring to comprehend the cultivation experience left by the super great emperor. The surroundings darkened. Only the flames were dancing. The night became very cold. Even these great emperors had to support their divine fire and immortal qi to protect themselves. At this moment, a figure walked towards them. When they saw the person, the people of a mortal-seeking village became nervous. Who is it? However, when the person came into the light of the flames, they were stunned. "Jiyun," a woman exclaimed. The others were even more frightened. "Jiyun's ghost is back. It has nothing to do with us. We wanted to take you away, but they wouldn't let us. Yeah, I've been nice to you. Don't come to me when you become a ghost." Even though everyone in the group was a peerless expert, they still felt a chill down their spines when they saw this scene. Emperor Frost Extreme and the First Elder were also stunned. Just half a day ago, they saw Great Emperor Jiyun die inexplicably. Then, they buried him. But now, Great Emperor Jiyun came back alive. A dead Great Emperor who came back to life was definitely not human. "Stop," Emperor Frost Extreme said sternly. "If you come again, don't blame us for attacking." Two balls of divine fire appeared on the First Elder's body. The terrifying aura was like two suns, illuminating the world. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief when they saw the power of the super great strength. The First Elder should be able to deal with them. However, Jiyun appeared baffled. He took a few steps back and said, "First Elder, why are you doing this to me? I'm just a little late." "You don't have to do this to me." "A little late?" Everyone's expression was ugly. "You're dead. Okay? You're alive and kicking again. Who are you trying to scare?" Jiyun said, "When I was moving, I suddenly encountered an array and was trapped inside. It wasn't easy to break the array and come out." "Array?" Everyone frowned when they heard this. The First Elder also said, "Let go of all resistance and let me search your soul. Other things could be faked, but souls could not be faked." As a super martial monarch, the First Elder was extremely powerful. He would definitely be able to tell in an instant. Great Emperor Nine Cloud stood there obediently, allowing the Great Elder to examine his soul. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, the First Elder withdrew his gaze. His expression became extremely strange. There was no problem with his soul. There was no problem at all. Furthermore, all of the other party's memories were still there for the time being, and there was nothing missing at all. This was really Great Emperor Nine Cloud. He didn't die. He was their comrade. But who was the person who died during the day? At that time, he had personally examined the other party and found that the other party had no soul. Wait, could it be an array formation? Could it be that martial monarch Nine Clouds had fallen into a magical formation? They thought that the other party was dead, but in fact, the other party wasn't. Therefore, his situation is a little strange. However, you are indeed the Jiyun that I know. Upon hearing the great elder's words, the surrounding people heaved a sigh of relief. They had unlimited trust in the great elder. The situation here naturally attracted the attention of Murong Qingqing. Murong Qingqing took a look and immediately woke up Lin Xian. Brother Xian, something is wrong. The dead martial monarch is alive again. Lin Xian woke up from his meditation. He looked forward and his pupils shrank. In the next moment, he used his Rinnegan. The power of the 6 paths of reincarnation enveloped the front. He didn't find anything strange. This person was really the same as before. However, his instincts told him that this was absolutely impossible. At this moment, the 6 paths of reincarnation started to spin rapidly, forming a defensive rune. There was a problem. Lin Xian stood up and said coldly, "Kill this person immediately." Everyone was in an uproar when they heard this. Great Emperor Frost Extreme also said, "Kid, do you want to be enemies with us? I've long found you an eyesore. If you want to attack, we don't mind attacking together and killing you." The great elder's expression was also cold. "Young man, enough is enough. I've already given the great elder face by bringing you here, but don't go too far." Lin Xian pointed at Jiyun and said, "He's not one of you. He's very strange. He's already dead. Have you all forgotten? He's not dead. Is he one of us? It's not your turn to teach me a lesson. I'm almost at the late stage of the transcendent Emperor realm. I've walked more paths than you have." Great Emperor Frost Extreme sneered, "My master has lived for hundreds of thousands of years. His experience far surpasses yours. Don't embarrass yourself here. Bear the consequences." After Lin Xian finished speaking, he ignored him and sat back down. Humph! What consequences? Isn't Zhu still alive? Everyone didn't think much of it. Nothing happened that night. The next day, everyone continued on their journey. However, this time, the mountain range in front of them separated into several valleys. It was time to make a choice again. The great elder and the others began to investigate carefully. Zhu also came over, his palm close. There was an important reason why they left Zhu behind. He was not only a great emperor, but also a formation master. A very powerful formation master. Therefore, during the entire process, they urgently needed the power of 9 clouds formation. For example, Zhu was currently investigating the 3 valleys. Which one was the safest? 2 hours later, Zhu said, "The one in the middle." The great elder didn't act immediately. He was very cautious. He wanted to investigate it himself. After another hour, he nodded. "There's no danger." Lin Xian followed behind, silent. Suddenly, someone laughed. "Lin Gongzi, don't you have a lot of ideas? Why aren't you talking now?" They looked at Lin Xian proudly. Lin Xian said coolly, "It doesn't matter which valley I choose. Even if there's danger, I can handle it. But you might not. I advise you to choose the other 2. It's safer for you." Who do you think you are? An early-stage great emperor kid dares to lecture us? These people didn't believe him at all. In front, Zhu looked at Lin Xian. Although he was expressionless, in Lin Xian's eyes, he suddenly grinned. It was a very strange smile. However, only he saw this smile. The others didn't notice it at all. "Interesting. Provoking me? I want to see what kind of monster you are." Lin Xian chuckled coldly. He too followed the crowd and entered the valley in the middle. The people of a mortal-seeking village all laughed. "I thought this kid was very powerful. He actually followed us. Of course, without us leading the way, how could he pass? Haha, if he entered the other valleys alone, he would probably die instantly." These people started to look down on Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian noticed that great Emperor Zhu kept looking back. He gave him a strange smile. Chapter 63:10. Did you see that? Lin Xian asked Murong Qingqing. Murong Qingqing froze. What? Lin Xian sighed. Even Murong Qingqing didn't notice it. It seemed like he was the only one who noticed it. Was he being targeted? To others, Great Emperor Nine Cloud was very normal. Not only was he normal, but he was also working very hard. He was walking next to the Grand Elder, next to Emperor Frigid Extreme, and constantly emanated the power of spell formations as he scanned the area. With the Great Emperor Array Master leading the way, They were absolutely safe. Everyone was relieved. Great Emperor South Pole also felt bad. He patted Great Emperor Nine Cloud's shoulder and said, "Brother, I'm sorry." It was a kind apology, but Emperor Frost Extreme's expression changed. Because when he patted Nine Cloud's shoulder, he realized that his opponent's body was very cold, like 10,000-year-old ice. Frost actually formed on his hand in an instant. Moreover, it seemed like it wanted to freeze his body. This was too unbelievable. Emperor Frost Extreme was an ice great emperor, and he cultivated frost immortal chi. Great Emperor Nine Cloud was an array great emperor, and his frost immortal chi couldn't compare. But now, Emperor Frost Extreme's body trembled. How could his opponent's frost immortal chi be so terrifying? At this moment, Great Emperor Nine Cloud turned around and smiled. "You're too polite. We're brothers. How could I blame you?" After saying that, he revealed a strange smile. When Extreme Honda Lee saw that smile, he felt his hair stand on end. He wanted to retreat, but it was too late. Crack! Great Emperor Nine Cloud's body suddenly exploded with black light, covering Emperor Frost Extreme's left hand. With a boom, Emperor Frost Extreme's left hand was cut off. Blood dripped, and the ground cracked. Emperor Frost Extreme screamed and retreated. "Damn it! You dare to attack me? You're not Nine Cloud!" He roared crazily. This scene was too sudden, to the extent that no one could react in time. By the time they came back to their senses, Emperor Frost Extreme had already lost an arm. Not only that, Nine Cloud's black light attacked Emperor Frost Extreme again, as if to kill him. "Master, save me!" Emperor Frost Extreme was terrified. He could feel a powerful force enveloping him. "You're courting death." The Great Elder was right in front of him. He suddenly turned around and punched out. The power of a super great emperor sent the black light flying. At the same time, another palm slapped over, wanting to suppress Ju Yun. Now, the Great Elder realized that he was wrong again. He had been slapped in the face by reality. Ju Yun was not normal. He was not one of them. Lin Xian was right once again. However, he couldn't care less. He had to suppress the other party first. However, Ju Yun smiled. The strange smile on his face was once again reflected in everyone's eyes. Lin Xian wasn't the only one who saw it. Everyone else saw it. This smile made their scalps go numb and their hearts turn cold. Was this still the Ju Yun they knew? The answer was no. They had all been deceived. Boom. The Great Elder's attack was too terrifying. His battle prowess was unparalleled as he sent Great Emperor Nine Cloud flying. Countless formations appeared around Great Emperor Nine Cloud to block the attack. However, he still spat out large mouthfuls of blood. No matter what kind of monster you were, in front of absolute power, everything was futile. The Great Elder followed up his victory with another punch. This punch was surrounded by thousands of flames. It was like the fist of a war god. Boom. Great Emperor Nine Cloud was penetrated. His internal organs were all shattered, and a bloody hole appeared. However, he did not fall. Instead, his body was standing in an extremely strange posture. Not only that, his entire body started trembling. Then, his body broke open. Black light spread out from his body one after another, covering his entire body. Everyone's expression became horrified. They realized that this black light was actually a black flower. It was extremely strange. Black lotus. Lin Xian naturally saw this scene too. He didn't make a move before because he felt that the Great Elder could handle it. However, this black flower that suddenly appeared made him cry out in surprise. He couldn't be more familiar with this kind of black lotus. When he was 15 or 16 years old, there was a black lotus in his body that sealed his meridians. Later, he found out that it was something from the Permitha. Because his father was from the divine domain, the Permitha planted this thing in his body to deal with the divine domain. Later on, the black lotus was destroyed by the great dragon sword soul. Later on, when he was fighting with the purple palace realm, he encountered the black lotus again. His purple palace realm had already been destroyed. He didn't expect to see the black lotus again in the ninth heaven. The black lotus gradually grew bigger and occupied Great Emperor Nine Cloud's body. As for Great Emperor Nine Cloud's physique, It quickly caved in and finally became a human skin. All of his strength was absorbed by the Black Lotus. Boom! The Black Lotus suddenly bloomed with radiance that swept out in all directions. The Black Lotus petals formed sharp swords that shot out in all directions. Not only that, but there were also other small black lotuses blooming around the valley. It seemed like they were going to sweep across the sky and envelop everyone. What was that? Get lost. The people of the immortal-seeking village roared and quickly counterattacked. They fought against the Black Lotus. The Great Elder was also stunned by this sudden scene. He was stunned for a moment. At this moment, Great Emperor Frost Extreme screamed again in the distance. His legs were enveloped by the Black Lotus and instantly broke. Great Emperor Frost Extreme went crazy. He cut off his own legs and quickly fled. Master, save me. The Great Elder came back to his senses and roared, "You're courting death." An extremely terrifying radiance burst out from his eyes. In the next moment, he turned into a pine tree. This pine tree penetrated the sky and the earth. It was like a divine tree that reached the sky. This was the Great Elder's true body. On the pine tree, countless pine needles flew out and fought with the Black Lotuses. It was earth-shattering. The Black Lotuses that filled the sky were pierced through. Great Emperor Frost Extreme was rescued and came to the Great Elder's side. He hid under the pine tree with an extremely ugly expression. At this moment, 2 more screams came from the distance. It turned out that the other 2 peerless experts of the immortal-seeking village were entangled by the Black Lotuses and quickly sucked dry of their strength. They turned into skeletons. "No, Great Elder, save me," they cried out in alarm. "Come over, all of you." The Great Elder roared in anger. However, in the process of walking, the 2 skeletons suddenly collapsed and turned into white bones. The others flew towards the Great Elder in horror. In the process, 2 more people died. Lin Xian and the others were also attacked. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Dragon-shaped sword chi flew out and cut off the Black Lotuses. The Great Dragon Sword Soul was the nemesis of the Black Lotuses. It caused the Black Lotuses to quickly retreat like seawater, distancing themselves from Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He raised his head and stared at Great Emperor Nine Cloud's body. Although there was only human skin left, there was still a Black Lotus on it. That was the true body of all the Black Lotuses. Kill. Lin Xian waved his hand and condensed dragon-shaped sword chi in his hand. It was as if a giant dragon had come to life. As it rolled, the terrifying pressure caused the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. The sword chi flew forward. The people of Immortal-seeking village could not stand it anymore. They said, "The dead should be respected. Young man, what are you doing? After all, he is our comrade." Murong Qingcheng couldn't take it anymore. "Companion? How many of you have died because of this comrade? If it wasn't for older brother Xian killing the main body, how many of you do you think would have survived?" Everyone was speechless because they didn't know what to say. Perhaps, in the end, only a few people at the very top would be able to survive. The others might all die and become fertilizer. And thinking about it, if they had listened to Lin Xian at the beginning and killed Great Emperor Nine Clouds directly, perhaps they wouldn't have experienced such danger. Of course, they only thought about it. They didn't dare to say it out loud. The Grand Elder would slap them to death. No matter what, he was from the village. Since he was dead, let him go in peace. A woman from the team slapped her palm and a ball of flame flew over. The blue divine fire bloomed with brilliant light and enveloped Great Emperor Nine Cloud's body. Lin Xian frowned and retracted the 6 paths of reincarnation. He said coldly, "Who told you to do it? Are these guys idiots? He's already dead. Let him turn into ashes." "What's wrong?" the woman in blue said. The others also nodded. "That's right. If he turns into ashes, there won't be any danger, right?" Slap. As soon as she finished speaking, the woman in blue felt someone patting her shoulder. She thought it was her comrade and turned around. In the next moment, she was scared out of her wits. It was a bloody palm, and half of it was broken. Only half of the palm was on her shoulder. The rest of the body was gone. The palm appeared out of thin air. What was that? The blue divine fire on her body exploded and sent the palm flying. When the others turned their heads around and saw this scene, their hairs stood on end. Why would a broken palm appear here? This valley was too strange. Leave quickly. However, in the next moment, everyone realized that the palm had grabbed the woman in blue's shoulder again. This time, they couldn't chase it away. The woman in blue was also a great emperor, but at this moment, she was crying. She felt that half of her body was completely numb. Who could save her? It wasn't just the woman in blue. Another shattered palm appeared between heaven and earth, grabbing him by the throat. Blood dripped from the palm. It was extremely rotten. One look at it, and one couldn't help but want to faint. This palm appeared too suddenly and grabbed Great Emperor Frost Extreme's throat in an instant. At this moment, Great Emperor Frost Extreme only wanted to curse out loud. Who is holding my fate by the throat? Master, save me. Great Emperor Frost Extreme couldn't breathe properly, as if the other party wanted to break his neck. As he cried for help, he roared, "Get out of my way!" He used all his strength to block. Countless icicles appeared on his body, enough to pierce the heavens. He wanted to tear the broken hand apart. However, it was useless. The icicles pierced through the broken palm but didn't cause any damage. What was going on? Great Emperor Frost Extreme was scared out of his wits. The first elder said, "Don't be afraid, disciple. I'm here to save you." With that, he slapped out with his palm. Countless pine needles turned into divine weapons, blotting out the sky as they attacked the broken palm. This was the power of a great emperor. However, the first elder discovered that his attack was also useless. The broken palm was still holding Great Emperor Frost Extreme by the throat. Emperor Frigid Extreme's face flushed red, and his eyes rolled back into his head. Crack! His neck had been broken. However, he was still a great emperor. He wouldn't die even if his neck was broken. However, the hand didn't relax at all. It seemed to want to tear his soul apart. At this moment, Great Emperor Frost Extreme was truly terrified. He realized that his body and soul seemed to be frozen. He couldn't escape at all. If this continued, he would die without a doubt. Crack! Great Emperor Frost Extreme died. The woman in blue also screamed and died. This sudden scene made everyone's hair stand on end. These were two great emperors. How could they die just like that? Not only that, but several more broken palms appeared. This time, they attacked everyone. Everyone was in despair. Lin Xian snorted. Scram. Chapter 63:12. Lin Xian's eyes shone with confidence. Others might be frightened, but not him, because he could see that he was familiar with the power of these palms. They were immune to mystiques. That's right. In the third level of heaven, when attacking the Fey God's tomb, he encountered a guardian. At that time, the guardian beast was immune to all mystiques and array attacks. At that time, everyone was in despair. Only Earth Immortals with superior cultivation realm strength could crush it. However, Earth Immortals could not attack, so no one opened the Fey God's tomb. It was not until Lin Xian came out that he defeated the guardian beast. Now, the situation of this giant palm was very similar to that of the guardian beast. It ignored the super great emperor's attack because it was a mystique attack. It was also immune to mystiques and immortal spells. Against such a thing, one could not use any mystiques and immortal spells. One could only attack with pure strength. However, these people obviously did not understand. These unparalleled experts were scared out of their wits. Lin Xian used his dragon-shaped sword qi to send the two palms flying. He protected Morong Qingqing. When the others saw this scene, they were stunned. They could not do anything against these palms. However, Lin Xian could do it. They all looked at Lin Xian. "Young master, save me." Even the first elder, at this moment, said in horror, "Young master, I was wrong before. Please, save me, okay?" The first elder realized that he could not resist this palm at all. His throat was about to be crushed. If no one saved him, he would most likely end up like Emperor Frost Extreme. Was it not too late to beg for mercy now? Lin Xian snorted. He ignored the first elder and the others and looked into the void. He said, "Come out. I know you're here. Ha 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 ha. Interesting. Someone can resist my mystique and immortal spell immunity. Young man, who are you? A loud laugh rang out. Then, a figure appeared in front of everyone. When they saw this person, everyone was stunned. Even Lin Xian's expression changed. The reason for that was because this person's body was actually broken. It was as if he was a broken piece of porcelain. However, they seemed to be bound together by some kind of power. Looking from afar, this person's body was full of cracks. Blood was rolling in those cracks, but it didn't flow out. What was even more shocking was that this person's aura was extremely terrifying. He was definitely stronger than a super great emperor. He was an earth immortal. Senior, please spare me. Upon seeing this, the first elder and the rest of the peerless experts immediately dropped to their knees and begged for mercy. Lin Xian also took a deep breath. There was actually a land immortal on Immortal Gaze Mountain. What a surprise. However, at this moment, something even more shocking happened. A black lotus quietly bloomed between heaven and earth. This black lotus actually wanted information about the land immortal. The moment he appeared, he immediately charged towards Lin Xian. Black lotus again. Lin Xian felt his blood run cold. He roared, took out the purple gourd, and smashed it into the sky. The true Samadhi fire came out of the purple gourd. It bloomed between heaven and earth like a divine fire, sweeping through the 9 heavens. It blocked Black Lotus's attack. In the next moment, Lin Xian was forced to retreat. He was dumbfounded. This Black Lotus's strength was so terrifying. The last time he dealt with Yu Xian, the true Samadhi fire had already pierced through her. But now, he just blocked Black Lotus's attack. It could be imagined that Black Lotus was much more terrifying than Yu Xian. Black Lotus was surprised. I didn't expect you to have the immortal fire. His huge figure covered the 9 heavens. Between heaven and earth, a black lotus bloomed. Beside him, there were actually 4 strands of immortal qi. The first elder and the others went crazy. Even Lin Xian and the others gasped. 4 strands of immortal qi. How is this possible? One had to know that an earth immortal only had 3 strands of immortal qi. The earth immortals that Lin Xian had seen before all had 3 strands of immortal qi. 4 strands of immortal qi. What level was this? Was he still an earth immortal? It was really unbelievable that there was such a terrifying person in the 9th heaven. More importantly, this thing was related to the Nirvana realm. You are from the Nirvana realm? Lin Xian gritted his teeth and asked. At this moment, the great dragon Sword Soul in his body roared. Lin Xian held the immortal slaying sword, ready to fight at any time. He also had the true Samadhi fire on him. Murong Qingqing also snorted coldly, and a 7-colored light bloomed on her body. She also held the ancient phoenix seal in her hand. The 2 of them were facing a formidable enemy. Black Lotus looked down from above. Although he was a plant, he was like the ruler of heaven and earth at this moment. He stared at Lin Xian and said, "You are an intruder, and by the looks of it, you should be from the realm of the gods. I didn't expect that a top genius like you would appear in the realm of the gods. Unfortunately, your path ends here. Today, you will definitely die." A murderous intent condensed on Black Lotus's body. Suddenly, it shocked heaven and earth. The first elder and the others almost fainted. They couldn't resist this power at all. Boom! Black Lotus bloomed, and the black petals danced, sweeping through the 9 heavens. Everywhere it passed, everything turned into ashes. The first elder and the others were in despair because they were affected by this power. In the next moment, their bodies were instantly torn apart. The first elder, a super great emperor, couldn't even resist at this moment. It couldn't be helped. The other party had 2 more strands of immortal qi than him. It was definitely a fight between a giant dragon and an ant. At this moment, the people of Immortal Seeking Village were all dead. Lin Xian felt a chill run down his spine. He couldn't even resist an earth immortal, let alone an existence with 4 strands of immortal qi. He roared angrily, and the true Samadhi fire was about to erupt. However, at this moment, 2 broken palms appeared in front of him. These 2 palms were much larger than the ones before. In an instant, it was as if 2 mountains were blocking in front of them. In the next moment, an earth-shattering voice sounded. Black Lotus was angry. You want to help them? Are you trying to be my enemy? At this moment, the man whose body was full of cracks laughed out loud. So what if I'm your enemy? The two of us have been fighting for millions of years. Do you think I am afraid of you? Kid, don't be afraid. I will protect your life. Not for anything else, but because you can obtain immortal power. Thank you, Senior. Lin Xian was extremely grateful. He didn't expect that this person covered in cracks would help him. At the same time, they asked, Senior, is the demon god's ancient tomb of the third heaven related to you? The puppets inside were made by me. Kid, you defeated those puppets, right? We are fated. I was just lucky, Lin Xian said. Mortal God, are you really going to help this kid? Black Lotus was completely angry, and a terrifying aura covered the world. The two of us have been fighting for millions of years because of the immortal token. I don't mind deciding who is better today. I am not afraid of you. Mortal God snorted coldly. A mysterious power appeared on his body. His body was immune to divine abilities and immortal spells. This was a super powerful force. Lin Xian, who was next to him, was shocked. These two peerless powerhouses were also here for the immortal token. Chapter 63:13. Two people with 4 strands of immortal chi were also here for the immortal token. It was really surprising. What was so magical about this immortal city? It could actually make such experts go crazy. The two of them attacked with earth-shattering might. This place was completely shattered. Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng retreated. At the same time, outside Immortal Gaze Mountain, the 3 Earth Immortals hiding and waiting were also shocked. What kind of power is this? Why do I feel so shocked? Is this the power of an Earth Immortal? There are Earth Immortals inside, and they are fighting. Who is it? It's not the power we are familiar with. They were all stunned. Ziyin was extremely anxious. Are these Earth Immortals fighting for Lin Xian? Should I make a move? I can't wait. Lightning Immortal roared angrily, turned into a ray of light, tore open the void, and rushed over. Go. The other two also followed. The 3 Earth Immortals rushed into Immortal Gaze Mountain. Boom. Heaven and earth shattered again, unable to withstand such a terrifying power. Are they here? Lin Xian felt Ziyin and the other's aura and immediately felt like they were facing a great enemy. The 2 experts who were fighting at the front had also stopped. They all turned their heads to look at Ziyin and the others. With this glance, the stars were shattered. Ziyin and the others were facing a great enemy. They felt an extremely terrifying power, which made them feel cold all over. What kind of aura was this? Why did it feel like it had surpassed them? Impossible. How could there be such a terrifying person in Immortal Gaze Mountain? They had been in the 9th heaven for millions of years. Why didn't they know? Lightning Eye. An eye split open between Lightning Immortal's eyebrows, flashing with a mysterious light. In the next moment, he screamed, and the eye instantly bled and shattered. 4 strands of immortal chi. He actually had 4 strands of immortal chi. Hearing this, Ziyin and the others sucked in a breath of cold air. They only had 3 strands of immortal chi. It was extremely difficult to cultivate 4 strands of immortal chi. Even if they spent millions of years, they still didn't succeed. But now, a master with 4 strands of immortal chi had appeared, and 2 of them appeared at once. Had the other party succeeded and walked out of that path? Ziyin and the other 2 were completely stunned. Mortal God glanced at these people and said coldly, "So it's you. Get out of here. Otherwise, don't blame me for starting a massacre. Are you guys here to take advantage of the situation?" Black Lotus also exuded a murderous aura. Ziyin and the other 2 had extremely ugly expressions. Even if the 3 of them joined forces, they were still no match for him. At this moment, Ziyin gritted her teeth and said, "Please don't fight. I have a secret." With that, she looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian's face darkened. Damn it, this guy is trying to shift the blame. Sure enough, the next moment, Ziyin said, "This kid has a key, which is a clue to find the immortal token." What? Hearing this, Black Lotus was stunned. Even the mortal gods were taken aback. He turned around and stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian immediately felt the pressure. If these two people were to attack him, it would be very difficult for him to resist. Murong Qingsheng was also extremely nervous. She did not know that she would summon her master at this time. Would it work? Black Lotus said coldly, "Kid, give me the immortal key and I'll give you a quick death." The mortal god also stared at Lin Xian. He said, "Do you really have the immortal key?" To be honest, he did not believe it. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He waved his hand and took out a key. It was a key with an ancient aura. As soon as it appeared, countless people exclaimed. He really had it. Ziyin and the other two heaved a sigh of relief. Great. In this way, the two masters were not in the mood to pay attention to them. They were really safe. However, they were afraid that the immortal token had nothing to do with them. It was very difficult for them to get it. "Kid, give it to me," Black Lotus shouted coldly. The mortal god also said, "Give me the key and I'll guarantee your safety." The two of them were here to fight for the immortal token. However, they had searched for a long time and still could not find the immortal token. They had been in despair for a while. Was it really there? They did not expect that the key to the immortal token would appear. Feeling the gaze of the two unparalleled masters, Lin Xian gritted his teeth. He did not give it to anyone. Instead, he directly poured it into the ground. Then, he waved it forcefully. With a click, the key seemed to open a mysterious door. The ground suddenly cracked. A terrifying aura spread in all directions. What happened? Ziyin and the other two Earth Immortals were stunned. The other two unparalleled masters were also stunned. Black Lotus roared, "Do you want to die?" Not only did he not listen to him, but he also acted recklessly. If something happened to the immortal token, he would not be able to vent his hatred even if he killed him 10,000 times. After the ground cracked, Lin Xian seemed to find a mysterious bronze door. Could he get the immortal token after entering? What on earth happened? Ziyin and the others were stunned. Even Black Lotus and the mortal god frowned. They also did not know what had happened. Only Lin Xian could see the bronze door. Lin Xian was surprised. He knew that this should be the reason why he used the key. In the next moment, he pulled Murong Qingsheng to his side. Then, he looked at the mortal god and said, "Help me block them." The mortal god frowned. "Are you ordering me?" Although he had a good impression of Lin Xian because he had cracked the puppet he made before. However, a little ant dared to order him, which made him very unhappy. Lin Xian said, "If you help me once, I will give you the power of an immortal." The mortal god's body trembled. Lin Xian said, "Senior, the reason why your body cracked was because you wanted to fuse the divine fire and immortal qi, right? However, it seems that you did not succeed. Of course, you are very lucky that you have another ability, which is immunity to divine powers and immortal spells." "I don't know if I am right." The mortal god was silent. Lin Xian breathed a sigh of relief. He knew that he had guessed right. Then, he would have a lot of confidence. He had guessed right. The mortal god also wanted to use the power of an immortal, but no one had ever succeeded. However, he was extremely extraordinary. He had actually fused the power of the divine fire and immortal qi. Moreover, he did not die. However, the consequences were very serious. His entire body was covered in cracks. Thousands of cracks were extremely terrifying. He was living in an extremely strange state. Originally, he had despaired. In his opinion, he was already crippled. However, one day, he discovered that even though cracks had appeared on his body, he had obtained a new type of power. Divine powers were ineffective against him. Immortal spells were also ineffective against him. After learning that he had this kind of power, the mortal god was overjoyed. He regained his confidence again. All the way forward, he had finally cultivated to this point. How did Lin Xian know? Lin Xian saw the mortal god's state and sensed the other party's aura. He understood. This mortal god had the shadow of immortal qi and the shadow of divine fire. However, the two only overlapped and did not completely fuse together. It was different from his immortal power. That was why Lin Xian had such a guess. "Why should I believe you?" The mortal god said, "You have the power of an immortal?" He did not believe it. Even he, who was so powerful, could not condense it. However, in the next moment, he was speechless, because Lin Xian waved his hand, and a mysterious power floated in his palm. This power made the mortal god's body tremble. Chapter 63:14. Fan Shan trembled with excitement. What kind of power was this? It was the power he had been dreaming of. It was the power of an immortal, and it was a perfect fusion of immortal power. How could it be? Was there really such an incredible person? His face was filled with astonishment. Lin Xian said, "Senior, my name is Lin Xian, and I am from the realm of the gods. I have gathered the power of an immortal. Senior, do you want to know the secret of this power? Help me stop them and let me in safely, and I will tell you." Okay. Fan Shan paused for a moment, then nodded. He wanted the immortal token because he wanted to go further, but he found that it was difficult to go further. But now he changed his mind. The complete power of an immortal was more attractive to him. Maybe he could complete a new transformation. Thinking of this, he nodded and said, "Boy, I hope you keep your promise. Senior, don't worry. I will keep my promise." Buzz. All of a sudden, the void tore apart as a black lotus swooped down at Lin Xian, wanting to devour him whole. However, with a wave of his hand, Mortal God sent the black lotus flying. He said coldly, "Black Lotus, don't play tricks in front of me. You are not worthy." "Damn it," Black Lotus roared. "Are you an idiot? Catch this boy, we will explore together, get the immortal token, and study it together. As for the power of an immortal, you can catch this boy and study it carefully. If you can't, you can take his soul, pull out his tendons and skin him, extract his bloodline, and study it bit by bit. With our strength, we will be able to figure it out quickly." He was really vicious. No wonder he was from the other world. Lin Xian's face turned cold. He said, "Don't do that. The power of an immortal is very mysterious. As long as I don't want to, no one can figure it out. Young man, don't worry. I am different from him. He is shameless, but I am. So, I will not attack you. I just want to make a deal with you. I will help you stop them, and you will tell me the secret of the power of an immortal. What do you think?" "Deal," Lin Xian said. In the next moment, he grabbed Morong Qingqing's hand. Their fingers were interlocked, and both of their palms were pressed against the bronze key. Only then would Morong Qingqing be able to see the mysterious bronze gate. He left. Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing's figures flashed as they entered the ground. "You're courting death. Stay here." Black Lotus roared angrily and quickly charged over. He shattered heaven and earth. The 4 strands of immortal qi in his body were enough to destroy everything. However, the mortal god was not afraid. He was immune to immortal spells, so he waved his fists and fought. A deafening sound rang out incessantly. He blocked Black Lotus. The two of them had fought for millions of years and were evenly matched. Now that they were fighting again, it was hard to tell who was stronger. "The 3 of you go and stop that brat for me. I'll reward you handsomely. I will guide you on how to break through," Black Lotus said to Zi Yin and the others. When Zi Yin and the other 2 heard this, their faces lit up. The secret to cultivating the 4th strand of immortal qi? Thinking of this, they were overjoyed. In the next moment, they also charged toward Lin Xian in the void. "Stay here, brat." Zi Yin shot out a terrifying chain of smoke, and the god of lightning was extremely fast. The god of wind waved his hand and cut off the void, blocking Lin Xian and the others' path. "Damn it!" Lin Xian roared angrily. He took out a purple gourd and shot out the last ball of Samadhi True Fire, which surrounded him. On the other side, Morong Qingqing also roared angrily. She actually shot out 2 ancient seals. The power of the ancient seals shattered and turned into 2 primordial phoenixes. They soared into the sky and collided with the 3 earth immortals. With a boom, Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing vomited blood. They were injured. However, they didn't die. With their powerful trump cards, they blocked the attacks of the earth immortals. Damn it! How could this be? Zi Yin and the others were stunned. The earth immortals couldn't kill 2 great emperors. Black Lotus also roared angrily. "Are the 3 of you trash?" He released his killing intent. Ziyin and the others felt their scalps go numb. They said, "It's none of our business. He has the power of immortality. We can't resist such power. But don't worry. He only has one chance. We can kill him with the second chance." The three Earth Immortals were ready to attack again because they could see that the immortal fire on Lin Xin's body was gone. Murong Qingqing only had one ancient seal left. It was impossible for her to block the next attack. Get lost. At this critical moment, Mortal God made his move. With a wave of his hand, thousands of rotten palms grabbed at the three Earth Immortals and blocked them. Black Lotus took advantage of this opportunity to kick Mortal God back. Mortal God's face turned pale, and he almost vomited a mouthful of blood. However, he was forcefully suppressed. With a loud shout, he blocked the path like a deity. The whole process happened very quickly. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing naturally didn't dare to delay. Seizing this opportunity, they instantly disappeared. However, they couldn't find them. Ziyin and the others didn't have the key, so they couldn't see the bronze door at all. Even Black Lotus was so angry that he was yelling, "Damn it! All of you go to hell." Black Lotus covered the sky. Its body swayed, and countless black flowers bloomed between heaven and earth like demons, wanting to devour everything. Ziyin and the others had already run away. Mortal God shouted coldly and attacked with both fists. Black Lotus shouted, "Do you really think your body is immune to everything? Today, I'll let you know my power." Black Lotus rushed over, his roots directly wrapped around Mortal God. He wanted to tear the cracks on Mortal God's body wider. "Boy, I hope you can come out alive." Mortal God glanced at the ground and then roared to the sky. He released his power and stood next to Black Lotus. Ziyin and the others were sent flying and vomited a mouthful of blood. It was too terrifying. These two people's realms were too high. They couldn't get close at all. They could only watch from afar. God of Wind's face was also pale. He said, "I didn't expect Immortal Gaze Mountain to hide such a terrifying existence. Fortunately, we didn't go there rashly." They all retreated from Immortal Gaze Mountain and waited quietly. The whole Immortal Gaze Mountain was shaking. Countless mysterious auras danced in the air, and all kinds of strange phenomena appeared. The people around Immortal Gaze Mountain all looked up at the sky. Were the gods fighting? They trembled in fear. At the foot of Immortal Gaze Mountain, Immortal Village was shaking violently at this moment. The people inside were shocked. The old patriarch leaned on his walking stick, his body swaying. He glanced at Immortal Gaze Mountain, and his heart sank. This kind of power was at least at the level of an Earth Immortal. The terrifying aura covered the whole Immortal Gaze Mountain. Those who went in couldn't be alive. It seemed that the First Elder and Emperor Hanji's men were all dead. The intruder, Lin Xian, should be dead. He didn't expect that those people would be so unlucky this time. The old patriarch sighed and closed his eyes in despair. "Let's go and find a quiet place to end the rest of our lives." Perhaps in this life, he would never return to Immortal Gaze Mountain again. He didn't know that Lin Xian was not dead. Not only did he not die, but he also entered the last mysterious door. Chapter 63:15. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing entered the mysterious door. He found that there was a unique space inside. Surrounded by clouds and mist, they seemed to be standing above the 9 heavens. There was a huge furnace in front of them, with mysterious runes on it. Inside the furnace, there was a terrifying flame jumping. Lin Xian took a look and immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. He realized that all the flames in the furnace were actually the 3 true flames. "Fated person, you're here." Beside the furnace, there was a figure. It was an illusion. It was an old man with white hair and an immortal aura. He was holding a horsetail whisk in his hand. In his left hand was a token with the word "Immortal" written on it. "Immortal token," Murong Qingqing exclaimed. Lin Xian's eyes were also burning. He looked at the illusion in front of him and said, "Lin Xian greets Senior. This time, we're here for the immortal token. Senior, what are your requirements and tests? Please tell us." In his opinion, getting the immortal token should be the same as getting the longevity fruit. He had to go through these experts' tests. However, The old man smiled and said, "There's no test. You have the immortal key and came here. You're the fated person. The immortal token is yours." The old man waved his hand, and the immortal token immediately came in front of Lin Xian. Lin Xian was stunned. It's that simple. However, it wasn't that simple. To be honest, he almost couldn't enter. If it were another person, even an Earth immortal, he might not be able to enter. After all, the Black Lotus was an extremely terrifying existence. It was an existence that had cultivated 4 strands of immortal qi. "Thank you, Senior." Lin Xian put away the immortal token. With this thing, he could leave with the people of the Oracle. He could even leave with the Heavenly Cycle Master. Lin Xian was very happy. Murong Qingcheng was also surprised. "It's so simple. Are they going back?" Lin Xian stared at the furnace in front of him. He thought for a while. Then he asked, "Senior, can you give me the 3 true fire?" After saying that, Lin Xian took out the gourd. The old man's phantom smiled and nodded. "Sure. As long as you can take it, you can take as many as you want." "Then take it." Lin Xian was even more delighted. He walked over, opened the purple gourd, and began to absorb the 3 true flames. The purple gourd was used to store the 3 true flames. It was definitely a magical treasure. Sure enough, the 3 true fire was so terrifying that it could injure a land immortal's flame, but it couldn't injure the purple gourd. This time, it was not just 3 flames of 3 true flames, but many. Lin Xian found it hard to imagine. Great, I'm rich. However, he knew that according to his guess, this thing should not be able to bring out the 3 true flames, but it was still very useful. The bloodline of the 7-colored phoenix was completely activated. "Master, save me." Boom. The ancient seal turned into a phoenix, spinning between heaven and earth, releasing a terrifying aura. However, it only blocked for a moment before it was shattered by the black petals. Black Lotus said coldly, "It's useless, little girl. Although you have a trump card, you are vulnerable in front of me. Your master is just a land immortal. I don't take him seriously." After that, the black petals came to Murong Qingcheng's side. Oh no! Murong Qingcheng's expression changed. But at this moment, the void behind Murong Qingcheng split open and a white jade hand reached out. It hit the black petals directly. With a clang, the petals were all sent flying. "Do you want to die, Hellflower? How dare you bully my disciple? Do you believe it or not? I'll turn you into a potted plant." A cold voice came out from the crack. Murong Qingcheng was overjoyed. "Master, he bullied me. Don't worry, my dear disciple. He won't dare to do anything to me." Hellflower's expression was extremely ugly. She didn't expect that there was such a powerful person behind Murong Qingcheng. She had actually hit his petals back. Hellflower's expression turned even uglier when she heard the arrogant voice. She recognized the other party. "It's you." Her petals shook in anger. Fanshin was also surprised. He also recognized the other party. He didn't expect that the person behind Murong Qingcheng was her. "Master, take me away," Murong Qingcheng said. The white jade hand took Murong Qingcheng away. No one stopped it. Black Lotus just watched coldly. He didn't want to offend the mysterious woman. That woman was terrifying. Moreover, there was a more important reason. Only Murong Qingcheng left temporarily. He didn't have the aura of immortality on him. In other words, he didn't have the immortal token. "That boy hasn't come out yet. I'll wait for him." Black Lotus's target was Lin Xian. Chapter 63:16. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief when he saw what was happening outside. In the next moment, he completely closed the mysterious door. Murong Qingcheng was no longer in danger. She had left safely. Next, the other party should be sending a message. As expected, after Murong Qingcheng left, she asked her master to use a divine ability to send a message. All the God Realm martial artists in Immortal City could hear it. After the Golden Lion King, Red Feather Emperor, and the others heard the message, they immediately found a place to hide. They knew that Lin Xian had succeeded. He had successfully obtained the immortal token and brought them away safely. What they had to do now was to survive for the next few decades. Great, we have hope. The God Realm martial artists were so excited that they were about to cry. Red Feather Emperor and the others were so excited that they jumped up. The Golden Lion King heaved a sigh of relief. He had been fighting all this time. He had suffered some injuries while fighting for the nine-headed lion's treasure, but they weren't fatal. The only thing he was worried about was the longevity fruit. Now that Lin Xian had obtained the immortal token, he didn't have to worry about his life anymore. Next, he could focus on absorbing the treasures left behind by the nine-headed lion. There were still a few decades left. He had to increase his strength. In the ruins of the Array faction in the seventh heaven, there was a mysterious array. This place was even more terrifying than before, even though the formation was gone. Even though the array was gone, no one dared to come here. There were two figures here. One was Heavenly Cycle Master, who had been in a daze. The other was Yi Wudao. Yi Wudao was cultivating here. On this day, he heard Morong Qingqing's voice transmission. He opened his eyes. Did Lin Xian succeed? That's great. He quickly stood up and looked at Heavenly Cycle Master. Senior, he succeeded. Lin Xian succeeded. He found the immortal token. The Heavenly Circuit Master's empty eyes regained their focus and began to shine. Is that true? He looked up at the sky. His gaze seemed to pass through the nine heavens. He couldn't believe it. Could someone really find the immortal token? Lin Xian took a deep breath inside the mysterious spatial door of Immortal Gaze Mountain. Next, he would have to absorb the three true flames with all his might. This process would be very painful. However, Lin Xian knew that this was his only chance. If he left Immortal City, he might never see the three true flame again. Go all out. Lin Xian roared and walked towards the furnace. His right hand had already been tempered. Lin Xian's next step was to refine his left hand and the rest of his body. The years of cultivation passed by very quickly. 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. The outside world had already undergone earth-shaking changes. The Immortal Gaze Mountain had completely turned into a forbidden land of death. Every day, a terrifying aura lingered in the air. The two peerless experts were fighting a great battle, covering everything. No one dared to approach. Ziyin and the others also retreated to an extremely far place, silently waiting. The immortal village at the foot of the mountain had long disappeared. The immortal seeking village was destroyed, and the people inside had all left. The old clan leader left with despair in his heart. The others were also scattered all over the place. Another 10 years had passed, and the battle between the peerless experts had yet to stop. Finally, 50 years had passed. Many people seemed to have forgotten that the intruders had once been here. However, on this day, someone had ascended to the ninth heaven. This person was none other than someone from the Nirvana realm. She was the nine-tailed fox. The nine-tailed fox was so excited that she cried because there was nothing in the first 8 heavens. There was not a single longevity fruit. That meant that she would die. She would not be able to leave alive. She crazily tried to break through the ninth heaven. Finally, she succeeded. There should be the last few longevity fruits here. Would she be lucky enough to get them? Immortal Gaze Mountain. Black Lotus and Mortal God also stopped fighting. The two of them had fought for 50 years, and both of them had suffered injuries. It could be said that they were evenly matched. If they continued to fight, it would be difficult to determine the winner even after a few hundred years. However, they did not leave. They waited here for Lin Xian to come out. Black Lotus wanted the immortal token, while Mortal God wanted the power of an immortal. On this day, Black Lotus was stunned. He sensed an aura in the ninth heaven. It was the aura of an intruder. Moreover, it was the aura of the Nirvana realm. Buzz. He made his move. His petals flew through time and space and came to an endless distance. The nine-tailed fox came to the ninth heaven and cautiously searched for the whereabouts of the longevity fruit. Suddenly, the void above her head cracked open. Black petals swept everything and directly enveloped her. The nine-tailed fox was enveloped. She attacked with all her might, but she could not move a single petal. What kind of power was this? Was it the power of an immortal? Was she going to die? She had just arrived at the ninth heaven, and there was hope. Was she going to be so desperate? She did not know. In the next moment, Her figure disappeared. When she reappeared, she found that she had come to a ruin. There were countless large black holes around her. There was also a terrifying killing intent in the air. Obviously, a great battle had taken place here. Moreover, it was an unimaginable battle between gods. When he turned his head around, he saw two colossal beings standing there. One of them was like a god, but his body was full of cracks. There was not a single part of him that was intact. This made her scalp tingle, and she was almost scared silly. Who was this person? Just one look from the other party seemed to be able to kill her thousands of times. Beside her, it was even more terrifying. There was an indomitable black lotus that slowly bloomed. There were 4 strands of immortal energy surrounding the other party. She was stunned. The virtual immortals, Master Rashi, and other immortals that she knew only had 3 strands of immortal energy. This black lotus had 4 strands of immortal energy, which surpassed the existence of an immortal on Earth. What level was this? Was she brought here by such a terrifying expert? She was almost scared to death. However, the nine-tailed fox was still a little confused because she found this black lotus very familiar. Why did it feel very similar to the red spider lily on the Permitha realm? Have you heard of the Permitha realm? The nine-tailed fox asked carefully. She was really afraid that she would be slapped to death. The black lotus said coldly, "Nonsense. I am the red spider lily. How can I not know about the Permitha realm? How is the Grand Supreme? Damn, he is actually an expert from the Permitha realm. A supreme expert with 4 strands of immortal energy." She was so excited. The nine-tailed fox cried at this moment. She knelt down and said, "Greetings, ancestor. I am the disciple of the fox immortal. I am the nine-tailed fox." Fox immortal? You mean Little White, that little fox? Has he become an immortal on Earth? It's really amazing. I remember that he was just a great emperor at that time, right? The Permitha Black Lotus said faintly. After hearing this, the nine-tailed fox was even more shocked. The other party called her master a little fox. How high was his seniority? Could it be that he was at the same level as the Grand Supreme? She was even more respectful and kept kowtowing. The Grand Supreme was still recovering. During this period, he had a great battle with the Divine Realm. "Ancestor, the Divine Realm is too evil. Patriarch, please take action and destroy them." Chapter 63:17. Hearing Nine-Tailed Fox's words, Ebon Black Lotus snorted, "I don't have time to kill the God Realm. You can do it yourselves." What he was most concerned about now was the Immortal Token. Obtaining the Immortal Token and discovering the secret of immortality was the most important thing. As for what happened outside, he was too lazy to care about it. However, he was Ebon Black Lotus after all, so he asked, "How many longevity fruits did you get?" Although he would not leave Immortal City for the time being, he did not want the Otherworld Heavenly King to suffer losses. After hearing this, Nine-Tailed Fox's body trembled, and she buried her head deep into the ground. None of them got. Ebon Black Lotus was dumbfounded. He was about to vomit blood. He wanted to slap this little fox to death. None of them got. Shameful, too shameful. Last time, the Otherworld Heavenly King won. Why were the Otherworld Heavenly King's people so useless now? No wonder the God Realm became so arrogant. Was it because the Otherworld Heavenly King was too useless? Nine-Tailed Fox said, "We don't know what happened either. Someone was very fast and got 39 longevity fruits in a row." Indeed, Nine-Tailed Fox was still in a daze. Ebon Black Lotus's face darkened. Someone got 39 longevity fruits. It must be someone from the Otherworld Heavenly King. Who was it? He immediately thought of Lin Xian. Although this kid was just a great emperor, he even found the immortal key. He was too powerful. This was a monster. To think that such a monster would be able to enter the mysterious door right under his nose. Nine-Tailed Fox and the others deserve to lose. All right, stop crying. There are still 9 longevity fruits. They are with me. Take them. After he said that, 9 longevity fruits flew out from his petals. Is that true? Thank you, Patriarch. Nine-Tailed Fox was relieved. This way, her life would be saved, and she would be able to leave with the other 9 people. Although the result was worse than expected, it was better than being wiped out. Leave and find a place to hide. As for the monster you mentioned, he is here. I'll wait for him to come out and kill him myself. Nine-tailed Fox was even more shocked when she heard that. Lin Xian was here? Heavens, why didn't he sense it? And from the looks of it, Lin Xian had offended this ancestor. He was overjoyed. Haha, this kid is dead for sure. This ancestor is even more terrifying than an earth immortal. If he were to kill Lin Xian would die without a doubt. Old ancestor, don't worry, I'll leave now. Nine-tailed Fox left Immortal Gaze Mountain and found a place to hide. Next, he would have to wait for half a year before she could leave Immortal City. In the blink of an eye, another few decades passed. On this day, the sound of thunder could be heard from within the mysterious door. Lin Xian opened his eyes. The thunderous sound was an array formation that he had set up beforehand. He had set the time long ago and would not miss the day of his departure. There was still a month's time before they left Immortal City. Was it going to be 100 years? Lin Xian sighed. Time passed so quickly while cultivating. For the past few decades, he had been quietly absorbing the immortal flame. During this period, his body had been shattered several times. However, his hard work paid off. His left hand had also been tempered. Previously, he had tempered a part of it, but this time, both of his hands had been tempered. His strength had become stronger than before. However, the other parts of his body did not appear because it was too difficult to absorb the immortal flame. This was the power of the immortal flame. It was the power that countless experts wanted to obtain. Lin Xian could absorb a little now, which was already very heaven-defying. Senior, I'm leaving. Lin Xian stood up and kept the purple gourd. He looked at the old man in front of him and bowed deeply. The old man's phantom remained there. He looked at Lin Xian and nodded slightly. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He took out the bronze key and opened the mysterious door. In the next moment, he flew out. Outside, Black Lotus was still waiting. He knew that every time an intruder came in, there would be 100 years. Last time, he had asked Nine-tailed Fox. Calculating the time, it was almost time to leave. If he didn't leave this time, he would stay in the Immortal City forever. That kid would definitely come out. This was his best chance to kill him. Mortal God also knew, so he often paid attention to him. He would not let Permitha Black Lotus succeed. On this day, the ground under their feet cracked again, and a figure walked out. Did he come out? Mortal God was delighted. Black Lotus also rushed over in an instant. Kid, you finally came out. If you have the ability, you can hide for the rest of your life. After you come out, I will immediately make you suffer a fate worse than death. The cold killing intent swept through the 9 heavens again. At this moment, the Immortal Gaze Mountain that had been silent for decades shook violently again. A destructive aura filled the entire planet. Countless people in the middle were shocked again. Was the war about to start again? Even the Earth Immortals from before took a deep breath. They stood up and looked into the distance. Did Lin Xian come out? Damn it, I don't dare to go over. Should we join forces? The others hesitated. Let's join forces and go over together. Wind God said. However, Lightning Immortal shook his head. Forget it. Don't get too close. We will guard from afar. Maybe there will be fish that slip through the net. If we get too close, we will be treated as enemies and attacked. I don't want to offend such an existence. Indeed, due to various reasons, they couldn't leave the Immortal City and had to stay here for a long time. If Permitha Black Lotus came for revenge in the future, no one would be able to escape. Young man, it's time to fulfill your promise. Mortal God of the Immortal Gaze Mountain looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded. He had already prepared for this. He took out a light ball. This light ball condensed his immortal power. He threw it to Mortal God and said, Senior, please feel it. Mortal God received it and was shocked. It was indeed immortal power, and so much immortal power. It was definitely released by the other party. This kid really has immortal power. How did you do it? I can't tell you now because I still have a month before I can leave. Wait for another month. You can take away this immortal power and analyze it slowly. It's enough for you to analyze it many times. As for how I practiced it, I will tell you the moment I leave. I promise to tell you everything, and it's all true. On this point, I can swear on my Tao heart. Okay, I believe you. This kind of oath can't be lied to, no matter how high your cultivation is. Therefore, mortal God believed it. He knew that Lin Xin wouldn't lie to him. He said, I can stop Black Lotus, but there are other Earth Immortals outside. I'm afraid I can't help you. A smile appeared on Lin Xin's face as he said, Senior, don't worry. I can handle them. When he said this, his eyes were full of confidence. Chapter 63:18. Lin Xin left. Black Lotus roared, Where do you think you're going? He tried to intercept him. However, mortal God was able to hold his opponent back. The two peerless experts clashed once again. Black Lotus roared and said in a sharp voice, Listen, Earth Immortals of the ninth heaven, whoever helps me catch this kid, I will reward him handsomely. In the next moment, Lin Xin's portrait appeared between heaven and earth. Everyone in the 9 heavens heard this voice. They looked up at the sky in shock. Some martial artists exclaimed, Who is this young man? How could he offend the supreme existence of the immortal gazing mountain? It's unbelievable. However, Ziyin and the other 2 Earth Immortals' eyes lit up. It's this kid. Now that he had come out, their chance had come. Judging from the current situation, Black Lotus was restrained and couldn't make a move. But they could. Once they succeeded, they would have many choices. If the Immortal Order really had a shocking secret, they would definitely run away. They wouldn't give it to Black Lotus. Thinking of this, Ziyin and the others quickly rushed over. In the past, in a desolate place, Nine-Tailed Fox also poked his head out. When he saw Lin Xin, he also sneered, Ancestor has issued a kill order. This kid is dead. Because he had already sensed that several Earth Immortals were rushing towards the immortal gazing mountain. Therefore, he no longer hid but followed behind. He wanted to see Lin Xin die with his own eyes. In the immortal gazing mountain, a figure quickly rushed out. It was Lin Xin. After Lin Xin came out, he flew into the distance. There was still more than a month left. As long as he could survive this period, he would win. However, at this moment, an indifferent voice sounded between heaven and earth. Where are you going? This voice was filled with endless thunder, causing the surrounding void to shatter continuously. This was the voice of the lightning immortal. Lin Xin felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He stopped. In the next moment, 3 figures appeared around him. The terrifying pressure made it difficult for him to move. They really came. Lin Xin took a deep breath, but he was not afraid. Ziyin said coldly, Kid, I finally caught you. You actually dared to plot against us. I will make you pay the price. Although the 3 Earth Immortals had powerful auras, one of their hands was completely petrified. Since they couldn't use this hand, their fighting strength was greatly reduced. Of course, that was for Earth Immortals. In their opinion, it was a piece of cake for them to deal with a great emperor. Revenge? I think you want the immortal token, right? However, there was only one such thing. Who should he give it to? Why don't the 3 of you fight it out first? Lin Xin said faintly. The god of Gale snorted. Trying to sow discord? It's useless against us. It's too insignificant. We'll suppress you first, and then we'll find a way to decide who's stronger. That's right. Let's attack together and kill this brat. Lin Xin sneered. Do you really think you can compete with me? Don't forget that I have the immortal flame. I'll give you a chance to scram. Otherwise, he would have to bear the consequences. Ha ha ha. Ziyin and the others laughed proudly. Immortal flame? Brat, how many more do you have? You still have 1 immortal flame. Can you kill us? It's impossible. At most, you'll injure us. I really don't know where you get your confidence from. How dare you challenge us? Seeing this scene, the 9-tailed fox behind them laughed excitedly. What an idiot. Brat, you're dead meat. You've offended 3 Earth Immortals. No one in the world can save you. The 3 Earth Immortals in front said, Don't talk nonsense with him. Let's attack. The 3 stretched out their palms, which were filled with vast divine fire and immortal chi. Not to mention a great emperor, Even an earth immortal wouldn't be able to escape from being besieged by the three of them. Boom! Lin Xin's figure was completely engulfed. But at this moment, a purple flame flew out from the west village of the Gourd Lake. This wasn't an ordinary flame, but the Samadhi true fire. As soon as it appeared, it swept across the land. The sticky immortal chi and divine fire melted in an instant. Not only that, these flames spread in all directions and enveloped the world in an instant. Damn it! What's going on? Purple Mist suddenly exclaimed. She felt a scorching aura. This was the power of the immortal fire. The other party was attacking them. Damn it! They attacked together. However, the god of wind and lightning immortal next to them also exclaimed. They also felt the power of the immortal fire. It wasn't just a ball of fire, but countless flames flying over from all directions. They felt that their bodies were about to crack and melt. How could this kid have so many immortal fires? This was an illusion. They roared crazily. They had been here for millions of years, but they hadn't found any immortal fire. This kid, a great emperor, had only been here for a few decades, but he had found so many. How did he do it? They couldn't imagine. However, they soon realized that this wasn't an illusion, because when the Samadhi true fire came to them, it directly cracked their bodies. That pain terrified the three earth immortals. Run! They quickly dodged and fled into the distance. What happened? The people of the ninth heaven looked up at the sky. They could already feel that the three earth immortals had surrounded a great emperor. It seemed that the great emperor was the young man in the portrait in the sky. The great emperor was really miserable. I'm afraid that he would rather die than live. Many people sighed. However, there were still a few earth immortals on their way. However, they were a little slower and had to deal with time. They shook their heads and said, "It's over." They had no more opportunities for the things on Immortal Gaze Mountain. They even stopped and didn't want to go any further. However, suddenly, a ball of flame lit up in the distance. Then, a scorching aura swept in all directions. Even though they were so far away, they could feel the terror of this flame. As for the other warriors, they were even more terrified. They were already crawling on the ground in fear. What kind of flame was this? It was too powerful. Under this kind of flame, everything would be turned into ashes. Boundless immortal chi spread out from an old man. He took a deep breath and said with a trembling voice, "This is the immortal fire. It has extraordinary power." He was also an earth immortal. With his gaze, he looked through the void and into the distance. He saw a shocking scene. Ziyan's other arm instantly cracked under the immortal fire, and white bones appeared. Then, the white bones were covered with cracks. Ziyan let out a shrill cry, and her expression became incomparably terrified. "Retreat! Quickly retreat!" At this moment, she no longer had any thoughts of seizing the immortal token. She just wanted to escape. Whoosh! Streams of immortal fire rushed over from all directions and landed on Ziyan's body. The entire space was completely sealed, and Ziyan couldn't escape at all. Puff! Ziyan vomited a large mouthful of blood. On the other side, the god of wind roared, "Get lost!" Wind moving ninth heaven. 9 tornadoes appeared on his body, supporting the sky and the earth. Each tornado carried a powerful storm power, as if they had really turned into wind dragons, sweeping in all directions. They wanted to blow away the three true flames. Chapter 63:19. The god of lightning even split open the void, and a huge crack appeared. He wanted to escape with his unparalleled speed. However, it was useless. The immortal fire was too magical. Moreover, there were countless immortal fire here. These were all absorbed by Lin Xin from the furnace. He didn't know how much he had absorbed. Lin Xin knew that this immortal fire couldn't be taken out, so he didn't feel any pity for using it now. Soon, the two Earth Immortals also let out miserable cries because they found that they couldn't resist at all. "Young man, don't make a mistake. I'll give you a chance. Quickly put away your flames." The god of wind roared crazily. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He said, "Are you threatening me?" After saying that, He pointed the purple gourd at the god of wind. Suddenly, the purple flames that filled the sky quickly rushed toward the god of wind. After that, the god of wind's face turned green. He moved quickly. The tornado around him was even more terrifying. He even used a terrifying windshield to block it. However, he was still sent flying by the flames and vomited a large mouthful of blood. This time, there were a few more cracks on his body. He was so angry that his whole body trembled. The kid in front of him wasn't very strong. He could kill him with a slap. However, the samadhi true fire in his hand was too terrifying. That was the immortal fire. They couldn't resist it at all. Therefore, even if he was gnashing his teeth in hatred, he didn't dare to attack. He could only think of a way to escape. When the martial artists of the ninth heaven in the distance saw this scene, they were extremely shocked. One had to know that those were 3 earth immortals. They were also the top powerhouses of the ninth heaven. They were like dominators. Usually, they would kneel and look up to them. But now, these 3 sovereign-like existences were actually being beaten up to the point of crying and wailing. And the opponent was just a young great emperor. They felt like they were dreaming. Especially the disciples and subordinates of the 3 earth immortals. Their faces were extremely ugly. They couldn't believe that their lord would be in such a sorry state. At this time, Lin Xian's voice sounded again. As expected of the earth immortals, they are really strong. To be able to persist for such a long time under the immortal flame was truly amazing. Pooh! Hearing this, Ziyin spat out another mouthful of blood. This brat was simply slapping their faces crazily. While she was in a daze, Lin Xian seized the opportunity and launched a flaming attack. Purple smoke was once again sent flying. A bloody hole appeared on her body, and her internal organs were all shattered. Her body froze in mid-air. The blood of an earth god shattered the void and shattered countless mountains and rivers. All kinds of strange phenomena appeared, surrounded by a sea of blood. Moreover, they found that Ziyin didn't return to the Purple Mountain at all. Instead, she fled to the vast mountains. She disappeared. Did she leave? Lin Xian frowned, but he didn't chase after her. Because he knew that Ziyin's condition was very bad, probably worse than Yuxian. She might not be able to recover in a few million years. The other party was no longer a threat. He turned his head and looked at the other 2 earth immortals and sneered. The 2 earth immortals also gritted their teeth. Like Ziyin, they fled at all costs. In the end, the 2 seriously injured earth immortals also fled and disappeared. Between heaven and earth, only the shamisen flame was dancing, and Lin Xian's figure was standing there. He was like a true ruler who could even control the fate of the earth immortals. This is the outcome of being my enemy. Do you see it? Lin Xian looked around and said coldly. These words were a warning to the other earth immortals. There was more than 1 earth immortal in the 9th layer of heaven. Lin Xian didn't want to be hunted down again. At this moment, the 9th layer of heaven was completely silent. Countless people looked at Lin Xian, their bodies trembling. The other earth immortals also frowned slightly, but they didn't say anything. How long could an intruder be arrogant? When the other party left, they would pretend that they never saw this person. Therefore, the few earth immortals turned around and disappeared. Feeling the aura of these people, Lin Xian said, "You go and hunt down the other earth immortals. I don't care, but all the treasures of these 3 earth immortal sects are mine. Don't even think about it." Buzz. The earth immortals who originally had this idea immediately stopped. They no longer went to the sects of the 3 earth immortals. Instead, they turned around and flew into the vast mountains. They wanted to see if they could hunt down the 3 injured earth immortals. Not to mention them, even some super great emperors joined the search, because they had no hope of becoming earth immortals. But this time, if they could find an injured earth immortal, they might be able to discover a shocking secret from the other party. Therefore, countless experts began to search frantically. Chapter 63:20. Looking at the actions of these people, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Land immortals are not so easy to kill. So far, he had only defeated land immortals and had not killed any land immortals. Once the land immortals counterattacked before their deaths, even if he had the 3 true fire, it would be difficult for him to deal with that destructive power. Lin Xian did not bother with these people. He would let them suffer a little. Perhaps many super powerhouses would be turned into ashes. He looked down at an inconspicuous hill in the distance and sneered, "Don't hide. I found you long ago." There was no sound on this small hill. However, Lin Xian sneered, "Still not coming out?" He slashed forward with his sword. The hill instantly shattered, and the figure of the 9-tailed fox rushed out. She turned around and left. At the same time, she was terrified. "Damn it, I've been discovered. Run." The 9-tailed fox had been hiding before. However, when she found that Lin Xian was surrounded by 3 land immortals, she was ready to watch a good show. What could happen when 3 land immortals attacked? She was not worried at all. However, the situation was completely beyond her expectations. Lin Xian defeated 3 land immortals, which was beyond her imagination. The flame in his hand was too terrifying. As long as one flame hit her, she would be dead. Therefore, he was running away like a madman. "Damn it, I should have listened to Ancestor Zunlian and hid somewhere." The 9-tailed fox was so regretful that her intestines turned green. She fled in the direction of the Immortal Gaze Mountain, because she wanted to seek the protection of the Ancestor. "Ancestor, save me." Before reaching the Immortal Gaze Mountain, the 9-tailed fox screamed crazily. Lin Xian followed behind and was not in a hurry to make a move. He wanted to let the other party experience despair. On the Immortal Gaze Mountain, Black Lotus frowned when he saw this scene. "This idiot. Why did the 9-tailed fox jump out again? Do you want to die faster? Get over here." Black Lotus shouted coldly. The 9-tailed fox was overjoyed. "Great. With the protection of the Ancestor, I'm absolutely safe." The old Ancestor was in existence with 4 strands of immortal chi. He was even more terrifying than those Earth immortals. However, at this moment, Lin Xian made his move. Previously, Lin Xian had put away the remaining 3 true flames. At this moment, there was still half a flame left in the purple gourd. It was definitely enough. With a wave of his hand, the true Samadhi fire flew out and enveloped the 9-tailed fox. 9-tailed fox felt her body shattering. "No, Ancestor, save me." Black Lotus was also furious. "You're courting death. How dare you lay a finger on her? Believe it or not, I'll make you wish you were dead." However, this kind of threat was completely useless. The 9-tailed fox was instantly annihilated. Her storage ring had disappeared without a trace. Nothing was left behind. However, there were 9 rays of light floating in the sea of blood. They were not damaged in the slightest. This surprised Lin Xian. There was actually something that could resist the immortal fire? What was it? With a wave of his hand, he caught the 9 streaks of light. In the next moment, Lin Xian laughed out loud. What a pleasant surprise. It turned out to be the longevity fruit, and it was 9 longevity fruits. In this way, he had gathered all the longevity fruits. Murong Qingqing's longevity fruit was also with him. This 9-tailed fox was actually able to obtain the longevity fruit of the 9th heaven. Lin Xian was surprised. However, he understood after thinking about it. It should have been given to her by Black Lotus. However, it was all in vain. It was now his. Damn it. Seeing Lin Xian put away the longevity fruit and kill the 9-tailed fox, Black Lotus went crazy with anger. The other party dared to kill his subordinate in front of him. "Are you courting death?" Black Lotus roared angrily. The huge black petals turned into sharp weapons and attacked Lin Xian. This was an attack of 4 strands of immortal chi. Lin Xian and the others couldn't resist it at all. However, Lin Xian waved his hand and a flame curtain condensed. It blocked these attacks. In the next moment, he said coldly, "You are too arrogant." Black Lotus was furious. He was arrogant? He was an earth immortal, okay? 4 strands of immortal chi, okay? He was high and mighty. So what if he was arrogant? On the other hand, a little great emperor like you dared to be arrogant in front of them? However, Lin Xian continued, "Do you really think I don't dare to attack you? Now, I will let you have a taste of the immortal fire." After that, he looked at mortal God and said, Senior, let's work together to kill him. Lin Xian clapped his hand, and the boundless Samadhi true fire flew out of the purple gourd again, forming a sea of fire that covered the sky and swept out. Black Lotus was shocked. Lin Xian had used a lot of flames to defeat the 3 Earth Immortals. In his opinion, the other party should have no more. But he didn't expect that there would be so many. Did this guy really obtain the inheritance of the immortal fire? Otherwise, why would there be so many immortal fire? Haha, good. I have long disliked this guy. Mortal God also laughed and cooperated with the attack. Black Lotus quickly dodged. No matter how proud and confident he was, he had to dodge in the face of such a situation. Lin Xian said, "Hey, Senior, aren't you high and mighty and fearless? Why are you dodging? You really surprised me. Will you kneel down and beg for mercy later? I am looking forward to it." "Little ant, you are dead," Black Lotus roared, trying to find a chance to kill Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian was very cautious. He always left a sea of fire around him to defend against any attack. Black Lotus was furious. This young man's combat experience was too terrifying. He didn't give him any chance at all. The 4 strands of immortal chi on his body resisted the immortal fire with all their strength. Black Lotus quickly retreated. At this time, Mortal God punched out and directly hit Black Lotus on the back, sending him flying. Countless petals fell from his body, and even a trace of black blood dripped down. Damn it! Black Lotus was at a disadvantage. He had never been at a disadvantage in a battle with Mortal God. But now, he was injured. Mortal God was excited. "Boy, come with me to suppress it." Mortal God saw hope. "Just you wait." Black Lotus fled into the space. If he continued to fight, he was afraid that he would end up in a miserable state. Maybe he would really be seriously injured. Therefore, he was very decisive. He fled when he reached the county level. What a pity. Lin Xian didn't chase after him, because he found that Black Lotus was really powerful and could resist the immortal fire. Of course, he could only wait for a while. Otherwise, he wouldn't have run away. Even so, he was already very powerful. The 4th strand of immortal chi was too terrifying. Lin Xian didn't chase after him. He looked at Mortal God and asked, "Senior, at your level, what is your level?" Lin Xian was indeed very curious. Mortal God said, "They are still called land immortals, but they are more powerful than purple deity." 4 strands of immortal chi? Was he also a land immortal? Lin Xian was extremely surprised. What about the immortal realm? Lin Xian continued to ask. Chapter 63:21. He was very curious about the immortal token. However, he didn't know the exact situation of the immortal city. This time, Lin Xian was prepared to ask the mortal god. However, the mortal god shook his head. "It's not good for you to know too much now. When you reach a certain realm, you will naturally know." It was like this again. Lin Xian frowned, but he didn't ask any more questions. Next, the mortal god looked at Lin Xian and said, "Little guy, can you give me the secret of the immortal power?" In order to prevent Lin Xian from worrying, he swore that he would never attack Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "I naturally believe in Senior." He handed over a scroll, and the mortal god couldn't wait to read it. He probed it with his soul and imprinted all the information inside into his mind. However, in the next moment, the mortal god was shocked. What? It turned out to be like this. What was written in the scroll was the process of Lin Xian obtaining the immortal power. There was nothing hidden. He even told the mortal god about going to the land of destiny. However, the mortal god was stunned. He needed the land of destiny to go against the heavens and change his fate. However, the land of destiny was incomparably mysterious. Even if he was so powerful, he couldn't enter the land of destiny. Forget it. This was the will of the heavens. He couldn't force it. The mortal god smiled bitterly. This state is also very good. At most, I will be petrified. Rushing down that path might not be hopeless. Lin Xian was shocked. Even a powerful mortal god needs to be petrified? Moreover, he had to take the initiative to be petrified. What was the secret of petrification? He still didn't know. Previously, he had joined forces with the Immortal Hand to petrify 3 land immortals. Those 3 land immortals were in despair, as if it was the end of the world. However, the mortal god's attitude was not right. It seemed that petrification also had a secret. He couldn't get the secret of immortality anymore. It seemed that it was time to leave. The mortal god sighed. Lin Xian was even more shocked. You can leave this place. He didn't dare to imagine. Because he had learned from the dream god and the other land immortals that those land immortals couldn't leave. In his opinion, the mortal god should be the same. He should be trapped in the immortal city. However, the situation wasn't like that at all. He could actually leave with a flip of his body. That's right, I can leave because I am above Ziyin and the others. Once they cultivated 4 strands of immortal qi or divine flame, they should be able to leave. To think that something like this actually happened, Lin Xian frowned. This is troublesome. Doesn't that mean that Black Lotus can also leave? Originally, he thought that he would be safe once he left Immortal City. But now, that might not be the case. The moment he left Immortal City, he would lose the help of the mortal gods and the immortal flames. Then wouldn't the Black Lotus be able to attack him? At that time, he was unable to resist at all. No, he had to think of a way. He had to restrain Black Lotus. Otherwise, he would be in danger. Moreover, once Black Lotus returned to the other side, he would be a huge threat to the God Realm. In a one-on-one fight, no one in the Divine Realm would be able to withstand Black Lotus's attack. Sire 9 had just recovered, and Lin Zhan had just become a land immortal. The combat strength of these 2 people was at the same level as Yu Xian. As for what level the battle god was at, Lin Xian wasn't too sure. Although they were all land immortals, Lin Xian guessed that the battle god should be stronger than Ziyin and the others. However, the battle god didn't have 4 strands of immortal qi, so he shouldn't be as strong as Black Lotus. Of course, this was only Lin Xian's guess. As for the specifics, Lin Xian would probably have to ask him in detail when he returned. Distant water couldn't put out a nearby fire. Lin Xian thought about it, and his gaze fell on the mortal god again. Only the other party could contend against Black Lotus. However, what could he use to exchange with the other party? It was impossible for such a peerless expert to help him unconditionally. Lin Xian's eyes suddenly lit up. That's right, the Land of Destiny. I still have one more chance to go to the Land of Destiny. Therefore, Lin Xian made a decision in his heart. Senior, how about we cooperate again? Lin Xian said. The mortal god shook his head. Cooperation? What's there to cooperate for? I'm not interested anymore. Young man, enough is enough. Don't have any ideas about me. It was normal for the mortal god to refuse. Lin Xian wasn't surprised. He continued, in 300 years, I will go to the Land of Destiny again. Although I can't take you there, with your strength, when the power of destiny opens, you should be able to sense something. Hearing this, the mortal god's body trembled. What did you say? You still want to go to the Land of Destiny? That's right. Lin Xian nodded. It means that the person I'm looking for is here, so I will go there again. Moreover, this is an agreement with the Fane of Destiny in the Land of Destiny. After 300 years, they will come to pick me up. Lin Xian's words were both true and false. He was indeed going to the Land of Destiny. However, it wasn't the Fane of Destiny that came to pick him up, but he took the initiative to open it. However, he didn't say anything about this. One must always be on guard against others. If the Land of Destiny can be opened again, and I try my best to sense it, I can really find its existence and even enter it. The mortal god was excited. He asked, What do you need me to do? Lin Xian smiled. He knew that the other party had agreed. He said, Help me stop Black Lotus. After I leave, the 3 true fire will disappear. I can't take away the immortal power. Therefore, Black Lotus will definitely kill me halfway. Senior, you must help me stop him. The mortal god nodded and said, You are from the God Realm, and he is from the Nirvana Realm. I won't participate in your battle. However, I can promise you that I will only target Black Lotus. Is that okay? Lin Xian smiled and said, No problem. As long as he could restrain Black Lotus, he could deal with the other situations of the Nirvana realm. And this time, if they won, the land immortals of the Nirvana realm would be petrified. At that time, the God realm would be able to fight back. Lin Xian took out the bell and gave it to the mortal god, saying, "Senior, everything depends on you." After that, Lin Xian sent out a ball of immortal power to the mortal god, "Senior, you can analyze it more. Maybe you will gain something." The mortal god put away all these things and then disappeared. He began to stare at Black Lotus. Then, Lin Xian left the immortal gaze mountain. On the way, he met Murong Qingcheng. Brother Xian Murong Qingcheng was very happy. "You succeeded?" The news that Lin Xian defeated 3 land immortals had already spread throughout the 9th heaven. After Murong Qingcheng returned, he naturally knew about it. Lin Xian said, "I succeeded. Not only that, I also got the last 9 longevity fruits." Lin Xian waved his hand, and the 49 longevity fruits circled around him. "Next, we will go to the 3 land immortals' mansions and take away their resources." Lin Xian also had some 3 true fire, which could sweep everything away. He didn't have much time left. He only had less than a month, so he had to act quickly. He didn't know if these land immortals' treasures could be brought out of the immortal city. They were ready to take action. However, at this time, the 49 longevity fruits suddenly burst into light and connected together, forming a strange scene. At this time, Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng were stunned. Chapter 63:22. The changes caused by the 49 longevity fruits surprised Lin Xian and the others. What happened? They started to worry. Could there be a problem? However, in the next moment, Lin Xian discovered that the 49 longevity fruits had connected into a ray of light and seemed to have opened a mysterious space. There, he saw the illusion of an old man and a furnace. There was a true samadhi fire in the furnace that kept jumping. This was the scene inside the mysterious door. Lin Xian had been inside for decades. How could he not know? Murong Qingcheng had also entered, so she recognized it. She exclaimed, "How could this be? Isn't this the place where the immortal key opens? Why did it appear now?" Lin Xian was shocked. He said, "I understand. The immortal key can open it." However, there was another way to open it, and that was to gather all 49 longevity fruits. However, this seemed to be even more difficult because none of the previous intruders had ever gathered all the longevity fruits. "Now, I've done it. I've gathered all of them together." The 49 longevity fruits were another key. They could also open the mysterious door. Lin Xian's guess was correct. However, most people did not know about this matter. Even the land immortals did not know about it. Lin Xian only guessed it after gathering all of them. However, it did not seem to be of any use. He had already entered and cultivated inside for decades. His hands had been tempered and were even more powerful than before. Moreover, he only had less than a month left. It was time for him to leave. It seemed that it was useless. Lin Xian was about to leave. However, at this moment, the mysterious old man's illusion made a move. He waved his hand and a ray of light flew out. Lin Xian was stunned and reached out to catch it. In the next moment, he saw an 8 trigram spinning in his palm. What was this? Lin Xian was shocked. This pattern seemed to be on the furnace from before. Moreover, the old man's Taoist robe also had something like this. The light on the 49 longevity fruits disappeared and the mysterious door closed again. The old man's phantom and the furnace disappeared. Lin Xian studied the 8 trigrams in his hand, but he didn't find any clues. It should be something good, but I don't know what it is yet. How do I use it? After all, this old man might be an immortal. Whatever the old man's phantom left behind would definitely be extraordinary. After putting the item away, Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng set off again. They headed for the Purple Mountain. The atmosphere in the Purple Mountain was incomparably heavy. Their ancestor, the Earth Immortal, was seriously injured and on the verge of death. It made them feel as if the end of the world had arrived. Quite a number of people had already quietly escaped. Some super great emperors were guarding the area as if they were facing a great enemy. He wondered if anyone would attack them. they probably wouldn't be able to leave again. The people of the otherworld heavenly king gritted their teeth. Divine realm, you're dead. We'll destroy you once again. Look, that kid Linwoody didn't appear. Is he dead? Haha, it's very likely that he will die here. The people of the otherworld heavenly king were happy again. The people of the divine realm rolled their eyes. Idiot, you'll be scared to death later. At this moment, two rays of light flew over from the void in the distance. Everyone turned to look. The Golden Lion King, Yi Wudao, and the others exclaimed, "Great, it's Lin Xian." That's right. The people who came were Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing. After the two landed, the group of people was very excited. The people of the otherworld heavenly king, on the other hand, looked terrible. Damn it, it's that kid. He's not dead. Damn it, but so what? Wouldn't it be better if we killed him with our own hands? What's the situation in the ninth heaven? Did you get the immortal token? Yi Wudao asked. He knew that Lin Xian had found a clue, but could he get the immortal token? It was still a puzzle. The people of the otherworld heavenly king were stunned when they heard this. Got the immortal token? Then, they laughed out loud. Oh, I'm dying of laughter. Are you guys still dreaming? Immortal token? How many longevity fruits can you get? Last time, we didn't even get the immortal token. We didn't even find a clue. You still want to find the immortal token? What idiots! The people of the otherworld heavenly king mocked and ridiculed. In their opinion, that was simply impossible. Chapter 63:23. The people from the other side sneered. They didn't believe that Lin Xian could get the immortal token. Lin Xian ignored them. He looked at Leaf Doudinier and said, I got it. So the longevity fruit is useless. I used the power of the longevity fruit to exchange for something else. 49 longevity fruits opened the mysterious door, and Lin Xian took away a piece of 8 trigrams. Afterward, the light on the longevity fruit disappeared, and it turned back into stone. Lin Xian vaguely heard a voice. It turned out that this was a choice. He could use 49 longevity fruits to exchange for a chance to leave. He could also use 49 longevity fruits to exchange for a chance to get 8 trigrams. At that time, Lin Xian immediately exchanged for 8 trigrams because he already had the immortal token. The immortal token was enough to take anyone away, so there was no need for the longevity fruit. Therefore, the longevity fruit turned into stone. After Lin Xian took it out, he distributed it to everyone. He said, That's the longevity fruit. The people from the other side sneered again. Ridiculous. A pile of broken stones. How dare you call it the longevity fruit? I think you're really hopeless. The Red Feather Emperor was worried that he had made a mistake. Lin Gongzi, these longevity fruits have turned into stone. How can we leave? The others were also very worried. Lin Xian said, It's okay. With the immortal token, these longevity fruits are useless. I just took them out to show you what the longevity fruit is. Oh, so that's how it is. Everyone was happy. Although they were seriously injured this time, it was still very good to be able to leave alive. Lin Xian said, In addition, I have something else to give to you. With that, he waved his hand, and an endless number of treasures condensed. These treasures were all obtained from the 3 land immortals. Lin Xian emptied their cave abodes. This was a supreme treasure. This time, everyone was stunned. Even Leaf Doudinier was dumbfounded. He had followed the 9-headed lion for a period of time. The other party's cave abode was full of treasures. But now, this treasure was not inferior to the 9-headed lions. In fact, it was much more valuable. Leaf Doudinier was shocked. You didn't rob the immortal cave of some land immortal, did you? After hearing this, the people from the other shore were stunned. Their eyes turned red. Although they did not believe that those lousy stones were longevity fruits, the treasures before them were genuine. Many people spat out saliva and wanted to attack. Lin Xian coldly snorted. He said, Whoever crosses the line shall die. He drew a furrow in the ground. I'm not afraid of you. Some masters from the Nirvana realm did not believe it and rushed over. In the end, before Lin Xian could make a move, Morong Qingqing had already made a move. The immemorial phoenix seal sent his opponent flying. His opponent's body was pierced through. How could this be? How did this woman become so powerful? The great emperors on the other side were going crazy. They knew Murong Qingqing's strength very well. He had just become a great emperor not long ago. But now, the other party's battle prowess had increased by several times. It seemed that the other party had a fortuitous encounter. Lin Xian said, "Everyone, let's absorb the energy. We must go back in our best condition." "Great. Everyone, let's do it." After thanking Lin Xian, they all went into action. Lin Xian would not be stingy with these people, because they were all from the realm of the gods. The treasures collected by the land immortals were extremely terrifying. Even though these great emperors were seriously injured, some of them had damaged their foundations. But with the help of these treasures, they recovered quickly. A few days later, some of them recovered. They cried out in surprise, "Great! I'll be able to fully recover. This kind of injury would take me at least 3,000 years to recover, but now I've recovered in 3 days." Another great emperor laughed. "My foundation might not recover even after 30,000 years. But now, I can see the hope of recovery. Give me 2 more days, and I'll be able to fully recover." The eyes of the Nirvana realm people turned red. They finally joined forces and attacked. There was no other way. They had suffered heavy losses before. Many of them were injured, and some had damaged their foundations. Now that they saw hope, the Nirvana realm experts joined forces and attacked. Leaf Dao Dinier and Hong Yu Huang snorted. "Kill them." The battle broke out in an instant. However, the Nirvana realm was suppressed again because many of the realm of the gods had recovered. There was a gap between the two sides. Some of them were smart enough to attack Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "I think you're too smart for your own good. Do you think I'm someone you can challenge?" After saying that, he threw out a punch. The golden right fist shook the mountains with terrifying power. Boom! One of the great emperor's arms was broken, and his body flew into the distance. He was too strong. He was no match for his opponent now. The battle broke out quickly and ended quickly. The Nirvana realm experts did not dare to make a move because they were injured. This was because their injuries had worsened. If they continued fighting, it was very likely that they would die. Someone said, "Don't make a move yet. Wait a little longer. There are still a few days before our experts return. Lord Nine-Tailed Fox is not back yet. Great Emperor Tsongqing is not back, nor is Great Emperor Starlight. They are all unparalleled experts among the super great emperors. Once they return, our strength will increase exponentially. Then, we can snatch and kill them." They began to look forward to it. "You mean the 3 of them? Great Emperor Tsongqing and Great Emperor Starlight were killed by me long ago. They died in the 6th layer of heaven. As for Nine-Tailed Fox, she did come to the 9th layer of heaven. Unfortunately, I killed her with a flame," Lin Xian said to the Nirvana realm experts. The Nirvana realm experts were stunned. They shook their heads frantically. "Are you kidding me? Kid, you're bragging. How is that possible? If any of the 3 of them were to make a move, you wouldn't be a match for them." The Nirvana realm experts roared wildly. Lin Xian did not bother to pay attention to them. He began his final wait. There were only a few days left before he left. 5 days later, Nine-Tailed Fox and the others were still not back. However, the realm of the gods had fully recovered. There were still quite a few resources left, so Lin Xian kept them all. "That's great. I've actually returned to my peak. Furthermore, I can feel that my strength has increased again. I've reaped great rewards this time. Over the past 100 years, they had been injured, but they had all been lucky. For example, Leaf Dao Dinier had risen quickly. He was now a mid-stage great emperor. It was inconceivable. Reaching mid-stage in a year was unimaginable in the outside world. Even a great emperor would need 5,000 years to reach mid-stage. It might even take 10 or 20,000 years. But Leaf Dao Dinier had done it in 100 years. Apart from him, the Red Feather Emperor and the others had also gained something. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing had gained even more. Finally, the day of departure arrived. But Nine-Tailed Fox and the others were still nowhere to be seen. The Nirvana realm experts despaired. They knew that if they did not show up today, the 3 peerless experts might never return. Nine-Tailed Fox and the others were dead. Under this power, they could not resist at all. Lin Xian looked down at these people and said, "Today, none of you can leave. According to the rules, after you fail, you will be killed by the power within a mortal city. So, enjoy your last moments." Lin Xian no longer paid attention to these people. His gaze seemed to pass through the universe. He once said, "Third, I want to take away one of the land immortals here." Lin Xian took out the sound transmission bell and sent a message to Zhou Tianshi. "Senior, leave with me?" On the 7th level of heaven, Zhou Tianshi opened his eyes and nodded. He had originally planned to stay here forever. However, because of Yuxian Air, he was already tired of this place. He wanted to leave this place of sorrow. Why not go outside and take a look? That's great. Lin Xian was overjoyed. The next moment, the void beside him broke open, and Zhou Tianshi walked out. He was surrounded by the Great Sky Divination Array. With a wave of his hand, the Great Sky Divination Array flew into Zhou Tianshi's body. "Let's go." Lin Xian activated the Immortal Token. A mysterious power enveloped them, and they disappeared. Only the people of the Nirvana realm were left, their faces filled with despair. Soon, these people of the Nirvana realm were enveloped by the power of a mortal city. They did not leave, but their bodies split apart. Their souls were destroyed. No, these people screamed and were killed by the power of a mortal city. On the 9th level of heaven, Black Lotus kept an eye on the situation on the 1st level of heaven. When Lin Xian and the others left, Black Lotus also moved. He had 4 strands of immortal energy, so he had the power to leave a mortal city. The reason why he did not leave and stayed here was to find the secret of a mortal city. He wanted to increase his strength. Now, the secret was with Lin Xian. He wanted to take back the Immortal Token. As for the other great emperors of the Nirvana realm, he also saw the situation of them being killed. However, he did not help at all. Because in his eyes, these great emperors were just ants. He could not send them out. If they stayed here, they were not worthy of being his subordinates. Nine-tailed Fox, that idiot, disappointed him. Therefore, he did not make a move. After Black Lotus left Immortal City, Fanshin snorted and followed him secretly. He only had one mission, and that was to restrain Black Lotus. After these people left, Immortal City regained its peace. In the vast universe, a spatial door suddenly appeared. In the next moment, Lin Xian and the others walked out. They were dizzy, but quickly recovered. Looking at the starry sky, they were so excited that they were about to cry. The Red Feather Emperor and the others shouted, "We're back! We're finally back alive!" Yes, before entering, they were unafraid of death. This was because based on the previous situation, the best-case scenario for them was that 20 people would leave. Chapter 63-25. A cold voice came. Zhou Tianshi furrowed his brows tightly. How terrifying. It made his hair stand on end. The opponent was definitely not on the same level as him. He was a being that surpassed him. The Immortal City was indeed terrifying. It even had such a peerless master. He hadn't noticed it in the past few million years. If such an expert came to kill him, would he be able to withstand it? He said to Lin Xian beside him, "You guys go first. I might be able to stop him for a while, but it won't be long." So, could they escape? No one knew. The people from the realm of the gods were stunned. They knew that Zhou Tianshi was a land immortal. If even he said so, they could imagine how terrifying this person was. Were they going to die? The Red Feather Emperor and the others were in despair. They didn't die in the Immortal City, but outside. Was it because his hope had been dashed again? This feeling was too unbearable. Yi Wudao also gritted his teeth and said, "Fight to the death. We won't be afraid." That's right, fight to the death. This is a Nirvana master, right? So what? We from the realm of the gods have never been afraid. We'd rather die standing than live kneeling. At this moment, these people exploded with terrifying energy. They wanted to die together. However, Lin Xian stood up. He said, "Don't worry, everyone. I expected this, so I'm prepared." Don't worry. Really? Yi Wudao and the Red Feather Emperor were shocked. Zhou Tianshi said, "Little guy, What are you going to do next? To be honest, he was also curious. How would Lin Xian resist? This was a peerless being with 4 strands of immortal energy. Lin Xian looked up at the Prometha Black Lotus and said, "Go back to the immortal city. You can't come outside." "You want to kill me? You're dreaming. Little ant. It looks like you're tired of living." The Prometha Black Lotus shouted coldly. A terrifying power fell from the sky, shattering the void. Everyone felt despair. Under this power, they could not resist at all. Lin Xian also gritted his teeth and resisted with all his might, using the great dragon's sword to the extreme. However, he was suppressed in an instant. The Prometha Black Lotus said, "Once you leave Immortal City, you won't be able to bring the 3 true flames out. You want to fight me with just an earth immortal? What a joke." In his opinion, Lin Xian was just an ant. Without the land immortal, what could he use to resist? He could kill him in an instant. However, at that moment, another palm appeared in the void. It was a broken palm. It was extremely strange and had easily blocked Black Lotus's attack. Black Lotus was furious when he saw this. He shouted angrily, "Mortal God, you left too. You still want to protect this kid. What relationship does this kid have with you? Why are you helping him?" Between heaven and earth, Mortal God's figure appeared and said, "I only have one mission, which is to hold you back." Then, he looked at Lin Xian and said, "Little guy, you should leave. He won't attack you again." "Thank you, Senior." "Senior, don't forget what will happen a few hundred years later." After saying that, Lin Xian intentionally winked at her. "Don't worry, I understand." Mortal God nodded. Lin Xian's trip to the Land of Destiny was his only chance. At that time, he would use all his strength to sense. As for now, he had to stop Black Lotus first. Black Lotus roared, "Get lost." The two started fighting again. The battle between 2 powerhouses with 4 strands of immortal chi was absolutely terrifying. The entire universe was swaying in the wind and rain. Countless worlds were terrified. When had the people in the universe ever felt such unparalleled power? They trembled in despair. Is the end of the world coming again? Are the Divine Realm and the Prometha Realm fighting again? However, even the Divine Realm and the Prometha Realm were shocked. This power surpassed everything. Lin Zhan was terrified. Lord Alcohol gasped as well. Even the fighting god was alarmed. He rushed out in an instant. His fiery golden eyes pierced through the universe and looked into the depths of the starry sky. On the Prometha Realm side, the Essence Immortal, Master Rashi, and the others also felt their scalps go numb. Moreover, there was also a lotus on the Prometha Realm that kept blooming. At this moment, the Black Lotus kept blooming in the land of eternity. This strange scene stunned the people on the Prometha Realm. Did something happen to their Prometha flower? However, the Grand Supreme suddenly opened his eyes. Why did he come out? He was also incomparably surprised. Could it be that something happened in the Immortal City? That's impossible. However, in the next moment, in the depths of the universe, 2 extremely powerful auras suddenly disappeared strangely. They seemed to have never appeared. Everyone was puzzled. Was it an illusion? Impossible? The Grand Supreme shook his head, counting the time. The duel in the Immortal City should have ended. At this time, Black Lotus came out. Something must have happened. He waved his hand and immediately summoned the 5 land immortals over. "Greetings, Grand Supreme." Saber Immortal asked, "Grand Supreme, what was the aura just now?" The Grand Supreme shook his head and didn't answer. He asked, "It should be time, right? The Immortal City is about to open. Our people are about to come back. Let's get ready." Master Rashi said, "I wonder how many land immortals in the Divine Realm will be petrified this time?" The virtual immortal snorted coldly. "No matter how many there are, this time, we will directly destroy them in one go." Humph! The land immortals would be petrified and unable to attack in a short period of time. They would definitely die. This time, they would never be able to make a comeback. The land immortals were full of confidence. During this period of time, they were extremely sullen in the battle with the Divine Realm. Now, they could finally solve it in one go. However, the Grand Supreme frowned slightly. he said. I'm afraid the situation in the immortal city will exceed our expectations. On our side, we should have made sufficient preparations. If we were to lose, that's impossible. Grand Supreme, how can we lose? That's right. The land immortals couldn't believe it. The Grand Supreme said in a deep voice, prepare for a rainy day. One of the auras just now is one of ours. He has always been in the immortal city. He didn't even come out during the duel in the immortal city last time. But this time, he came out and fought with someone. Something must have happened in the immortal city. So, make a decision. If we fail, which one of you will be petrified? The moment he said this, the 5 land immortals fell silent. None of them were willing. The Grand Supreme snorted coldly. Stupid trash. You will have to walk on this path sooner or later. Now, you are just a little ahead of time. Are you not even prepared for this sacrifice? Master Rashi revealed an expression that was uglier than crying. Grand Supreme, this is too early for us. Moreover, passive petrification is different from active petrification. What if we can't break through? The Grand Supreme's face darkened. You don't even have this little bit of faith. No wonder you can only cultivate 3 strands of immortal energy. You can't stop moving forward anymore. Forget it. Go to the universe first and pick up our people. The 5 land immortals left. The Grand Supreme's eyes flickered. Do I still have to make some preparations? He waved his hand and tore open the void. He went to a certain place in the Eternal Land. The entire Eternal Land was their Nirvana realm, and some places were also forbidden areas in the Nirvana realm. The place that the Grand Supreme went to was one of these forbidden areas. Chapter 63:26. The Grand Supreme arrived at an ancient hall. It was very quiet here. Inside the hall, there were 2 statues. These 2 statues were in human form and were very lifelike. At this moment, one of the statues actually opened its eyes. A deep voice sounded, Greetings, Grand Supreme. Why are you here? Did something happen? The other statue also moved its shoulders, and immediately, cracking sounds could be heard. Dust fell from his body. How much combat power can you 2 display? The Grand Supreme asked in a deep voice. The statue on the left side and said, Only a part of our combat power. The statue on the right also said, We can't reach the peak. The Grand Supreme said, The war god seems to be about to break through the petrification. He can already move. Although he can't walk yet, his hands should be fine. That monkey? He was actually so powerful. After the 2 statues heard this, they were extremely surprised. Then, the statue on the left said, It is said that this monkey has an extraordinary origin. It seems to be a stone itself. That's right. That's why he took the initiative to take this path. Who would have thought that he would succeed so quickly? The Grand Supreme's eyes flickered. He said, The next situation might be beyond our expectations. I have a premonition that this time, the outcome of the immortal city might not be ideal. There might be people on our side who will be petrified. So, when the time comes, you might make a move. Of course, this is the worst outcome. The better outcome is that, on our side, there is a kind of petrification of the land immortals. You can tell him your experience. Don't worry, Grand Supreme, there won't be a problem. The statue on the right said, Grand Supreme, back then, we also had a group of people who entered the space-time tunnel. That group of people should be back soon. The Grand Supreme shook his head and said, The power of time is too mysterious. Even I can't control it now. Back then, on the side of the divine realm, there was a space-time god helping him. Otherwise, they would have been wiped out long ago. Just as the Grand Supreme was about to use his foundation, the 5 land immortals joined forces and came to the depths of the universe. On the other side, the people of the divine realm also took action. The war god, Lord Alcohol, Lin Zhan, and the others came together. They also came to the depths of the starry sky. Previously, his battle had made their hair stand on end. A peerless powerhouse suddenly appeared, and he was a powerhouse that surpassed his realm. Immortal City, what had happened? Lin Xin and the others were fine, right? Lin Zhan and Lord Alcohol were extremely nervous. Soon, they saw the virtual immortal, Immortal Fox, and the others. Both sides were like fire and water, but they didn't attack each other. This was because they were waiting for the result. The winner would win, and the loser would be petrified. It would be the best time for them to make a move after the petrification. Master Rashi said coldly, "Don't wait. You will definitely lose." The virtual immortal also said, "I wonder who among you will be petrified this time? At that time, all of you will be dead." Lin Zhan said, "Things haven't reached the last step yet. How do you know that we will lose?" "Ha ha ha ha, with just your people, how can you possibly win?" They disdained virtual immortals. Someone came. It was unknown who shouted, but both sides quieted down. Their gazes turned to the distance. Sure enough, there was a group of people rushing over from afar. There were at most a few dozen of them. From the looks of it, their people had all returned. Everyone became nervous. Who was the winner? Buzz. Soon, this group of people appeared in front of them. The one in the lead was a young man. He was handsome and valiant, and the golden flames on his body towered into the sky. Not only that, but there was also a biting cold sword energy that connected heaven and earth. It was Xian'er. Lin Zhan heaved a sigh of relief. Lord Alcohol also smiled. "I knew it. This little guy will definitely be fine." Beside Lin Xian, there was a phoenix spreading its wings and flying. This time, it was Murong Qingcheng. The Empress smiled and said, "The genius of the Phoenix clan. It seems that her strength has increased greatly this time. The bloodline of the seven-colored phoenix has become even more terrifying." The third person appeared again. Yi Wudao had the phantom of an immortal king on him. The fourth person was Hong Yuhuang. The next few people were all from the God realm. This made Lin Zhan, Lord Alcohol, and the others very happy. The people from the divine realm clenched their fists. Great, this is really great. As for the people from the other side, their expressions were ugly. What's going on? Why haven't their people appeared yet? Master Rashi said, "Don't worry, everyone. Just wait patiently." As a turtle, he had a long lifespan and was the most patient. He said, "There are only a few people. Even if the first four are their people, so what? The rest will definitely be ours. We are the final victors." That's right. The virtual immortals and the others began to wait patiently. However, Master Rashi was right. The first 10 were all from the divine realm. Not only that, but the first 20 and the first 30 were also the same. When the 49th person came, everyone was stunned. The entire universe was terrifyingly quiet. The people from the divine realm couldn't believe it. The Empress said, "Who can tell me? I'm not dreaming, right?" Black Mountain and the others also exclaimed, "Oh my God!" All 49 people came back safely. Moreover, they felt that their strength had increased greatly. What happened? Was the immortal city destroyed? To be honest, before they came, they had already made all kinds of plans, including the worst-case scenario. Who would be petrified on their side? Some people even suggested that the younger generation should hide and wait for a comeback. However, the scene in front of them really shocked them. Was there even a need to make a comeback? They had sent 49 people, and all of them had returned. This was a perfect record. The people from the other side were all stunned. Dream. This must be a dream. How could all of them come back alive? There were only 49 longevity fruits in total. If all of them came back alive, what about the people from the other side? They felt a chill in their hearts. They had a bad feeling, because they realized that until now, no one from the other side had appeared. Could it be that they were all wiped out? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. The Saber Immortal shook his head crazily. Even though he cultivated the immortal art, he couldn't stay calm at this moment. His hands kept shaking. He gritted his teeth and said, "Wait, our people are behind." On the other side, Lin Zhan and the others quickly rushed over. "Xian'er, what happened? Why did you all come out? Did you get all the longevity fruits? Where are the people from the other side? How are they? Who won? Who lost?" These land immortals were extremely excited. Lin Xian smiled and said, "Father, Master, don't worry. We won. We won." Lin Zhan and the others were stunned at first. Then, they heaved a sigh of relief. "Tell us the details." Lin Xian shook his head and said, "It's a long story. The process is too complicated. When I have the chance, I will tell you in detail. However, the result is that we won, and it was a perfect victory. The other side has no chance of making a comeback. I don't believe it." On the other side, the virtual immortal, Fox Immortal, and the others roared, "Someone must be coming. Look, someone is coming." In the starry sky, the 50th person appeared. The people from the other side were excited. Their people came out. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.